Chapter 259. How do you feel? He Xiahua asked. She did not think that the medicine would work. She was worried that it would have a negative effect and cause other damage to her husband's body. This is not an elixir. How can it work so quickly? Wang Fengxiang said angrily. However, he could feel a warmth in his abdomen. It did not take long for his body to heat up. The heat spread to his limbs and bones. In such hot weather, he could not help but be irritable. After all, it was impossible for him to be in a good mood when he was sick. He Xiahua finished cooking and fed some to her husband. Do you want to sleep? Okay, Wang Fengxiang replied. It was hot outside, but it was not hot inside. It was not the time to fall asleep, but he just could not sleep. Sigh. He sighed slightly and turned over. Huh. Suddenly, his body tensed up. My right leg? He tried to move it. His right leg could move. Although it still wasn't as obedient as before, it could still move. This made him very happy. He just wanted to tell his wife, but he saw her sleeping appearance. Her face was full of fatigue, and there were deep bags under her eyes. He held back the words that were about to come out of his mouth. He knew how tired his wife was these days. She was busy taking care of him. She did not eat well or rest well in the hospital. In addition, he had a bad temper. She should sleep well. What was a real husband and wife? It was too lofty. They would go through thick and thin together. It was very rare to be able to do this. Wang Fengxiang moved his right leg on the Kong. He slowly practiced. His movements were very light. He was afraid that he would wake up his wife, who finally had a good sleep. Perhaps she was too tired. He Xiahua slept until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. When she woke up, she found her husband curling his right leg. At first, she did not feel anything. You are awake, Wang Fengxiang said with a smile. Wait. He Xiahua suddenly sat up. Your leg can move? Yes, Wang Fengxiang said with a smile. When did this happen? He Xiahua asked excitedly. Just now, Wang Fengxiang said with a smile. Come, let me help you, He Xiahua hurried forward and said. There's no need. You should lie down for a while more. You must be exhausted these past few days. I'm not tired. As long as you can recover, it's worth it. He Xiahua's eyes were filled with tears. Why did it suddenly become better? The couple sat on the Kong bed and thought about the reason for this change. Is it the medicine sent by Yao? Well, that's possible. I'll drink more tonight. Don't drink too much. Just take the medicine according to what he said. All right. The sky gradually darkened. After dinner, Wang Fengxiang took the medicine again and waited for the changes in his body. Thousands of miles away in the capital, Dr. Chen finished another round of acupuncture. Song Ruiping stood to the side, looking at her daughter who had removed a small portion of the gauze. The exposed skin was a somewhat sickly red. Although it still looked a little scary, it was much better than the original strange and scary purplish-black color. This was a fundamental improvement and change. After this acupuncture treatment, I will come back in 3 days. Chen Lao wiped his face with a warm towel and breathed a sigh of relief. Acupuncture treatment was very taxing on the mind, let alone at night. These days, he came to Su Xiaoshue's house twice every 3 days and performed acupuncture twice a day and night. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Well, that's all I can do. The effect of acupuncture alone is limited. When can Dr. Wang come? Zhang Xiaoying asked. He promised to come as soon as possible, Song Ruiping said. This time, she didn't send anyone to urge him. She had been anxious these days, but seeing that her daughter was slowly getting better, her anxious mood gradually calmed down. Moreover, after several conversations with her husband, she decided to wait. Last time, Dr. Wang said that he would come back, and then he came. This time, he said that he would come back, and he would definitely come back. It was just that she had to wait a little longer. As long as Xiaoshue's illness can be cured, what's the harm in waiting? The summer night was short. It only took 10 hours from dark to dawn. Such a short time might just be a dream. Some people dreamed of romance, some dreamed of endless wealth, some dreamed of a meteoric rise, and some dreamed of floods and fierce beasts. Wang Fengxiang dreamed that he was working in the field. He raised his head and put it down. He seemed to have endless strength in his body. His legs and feet were intact. This was his dream. He had been thinking about it for a long time. The dream had to disperse after all. As the sun rose, a new day came. People were busy again. Wang Fengxiang was the only one on the Kong. He heard the sound of busy people outside. It was his wife preparing breakfast. After Wang Fengxiang woke up, he was stunned. Then, he smiled happily. He felt that he could move his arm, so he tried to lift it up. He tried again, and his fingers moved a little. Ha ha! He laughed out loud. In just one night, his condition had improved greatly. How could he not be happy? Time to eat. His wife came into the room with cooked noodles. She found that her husband sat up and leaned against the quilt. He was also moving his right arm. You can move your right hand too? He Xiuhua was surprised. I can move it. I found that I could move it when I woke up, Wang Fengxiang said with a smile. That's great. He Xiuhua was so happy that she didn't know what to say. Let's eat first. Okay, let's eat. The couple could basically confirm that it was the bottle of medicine that Wang Yao had sent over the day before that had taken effect. Don't tell anyone about this, Wang Fengxiang told his wife. Okay, I know. Buy something and go to his house later. Okay, I'll go to town later, he Xiuhua said. It was such a big favor. She had to buy something decent. Okay, buy something decent. Don't worry about spending money. At 10 a.m., Zhang Xiuying was busy at home. She heard someone knocking on the door and saw He Xiuhua come in with something. Aunt, come in quickly, she hurriedly said. Hey, Yao is not at home. He Xiuhua entered the room and sat down. She looked around and found that only Zhang Xiuying was at home. He usually stays on the hill. Aunt, what's the matter? Looking at the things He Xiuhua brought, they were not cheap. Nothing. I just came to thank Yao, He Xiuhua said. Thank him? Why? Zhang Xiuying was stunned. He sent a bottle of medicine yesterday morning. After Fengxiang took it, he could move his legs yesterday afternoon. This morning, he could move his arms. After hearing He Xiuhua's words, Zhang Xiuying knew the purpose of He Xiuhua's visit. At the same time, for the first time, she intuitively realized that her son's medical skills were amazing. In the previous few times, whether it was Tian Yuantu or Wang Yao's third uncle, she had not seen their conditions. However, she saw Wang Fengxiang's condition with her own eyes. He was lying on the Kong and could not take care of himself. In just one day, he could move his hands and feet. This was amazing. Where did this kid learn his medical skills? Zhang Xiuying had thought about this more than once. Forget it. Anyway, it's a good thing. Aunt, it's a good thing that Fengxiang's illness is getting better. Yao, you don't have to thank him. You can take these things back. You don't have to buy such expensive things, Zhang Xiuying said. How can I do that? He Xiuhua asked. It's really not necessary. Also, don't tell anyone about this, Zhang Xiuying said. She knew her son's temper. He did not like to be crowded. He also had to look at different patients. Oh, I know this in my heart. Don't worry. In the end, Zhang Xiuying did not argue with He Xiuhua. She accepted the gift. Ah, this is so troublesome. At this time, on Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao was performing acupressure on Zhou Wukong's blood. After an hour, his arms seemed to have become thicker and redder. How do you feel? It's hot, Zhou Wukong said truthfully. Well, okay. Wang Yao took out the blood deblicking powder that he had prepared beforehand. This is the medicine I decocted. The way to use it is the same as before. Thank you. Zhou Xiong took the precious medicine with both hands. I'll go back to Jing in a few days. I'll probably stay in Jing for a while. You take good care of Kang's medicine. Okay. At noon, he went down the hill with Zhou Xiong and his son. When he returned home, Zhang Xiuying told him what happened in the morning. Why don't you go to his house in 2 days and return the things to them? Okay. 3 days was neither too long nor too short. It was enough to create a miracle. Wang Fengxiang personally experienced the miracle. 3 days ago, he was still lying on the Kong bed and was almost a patient who could not take care of himself. Now, he could hold on to things and move around the house by himself. Although his legs still did not have much strength, he could bend his arms and move his fingers. After walking around the courtyard, he sat down to rest. After all, he had not recovered from a serious illness. His body was still weak. Don't worry, take your time, his wife said. Okay. Just as they were talking, a person came in. Brother, He Xiuying said with a smile. Hello, sister-in-law, is Fengxiang better? Yes, he is better. Come in and have a seat. The middle-aged man entered the house. After putting down the fruit in his hand, he started to talk with them. After a few words, the couple understood the purpose of the man's visit. He asked them if they had taken any special medicine or folk prescription. In the past 2 days, the news that Wang Fengxiang's condition had improved had spread in the small village. In the village, he was not the only one who had this disease. Several other people had the same disease for some time. Some of them did not even recover as well as he did in the past 3 days. Such a situation naturally attracted the attention of those people's family members. They thought he had taken some special medicine, so they all came to inquire. It's the medicine from the hospital, Wang Fengxiang said. Chapter 260. Can I have a look at the medicine prescribed by the hospital? I have a relative who also has the same disease. He never gets better. The man finally told Wang Yao the real purpose of his visit. Okay, I'll get it for you. He Xiuhua got up and went into the inner room. She took out the medicine for her husband. The man took it and looked at it carefully. He also remembered the name of the medicine. Okay, you have a good rest. When you get better, I'll treat you to a drink. Okay, Wang Fengxiang said with a smile. He was now relaxed. He was no longer as agitated and depressed as before. After all, he saw hope in life. He was no longer gloomy. Those negative emotions were naturally temporarily put behind him. Those medicines are actually not very effective, He Xiuhua said after the man left with a smile. This is not the first time. Indeed, it was not the first time. There were at least 5 people who had come to ask about this matter. Why don't you think Yao has this ability? Young people have their own ideas. No matter what, this kindness will be remembered for the rest of our lives. Okay. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao decocted another medicine. He prepared the deworming medicine for Wei Hai. Since he was going to go to Jing, there were some things he had to prepare first. Before leaving, he still had to visit the patients. Except for Secretary Yang's mother, most of the patients were in Lianshan County. After preparing the medicine, he drove to Lianshan County the next morning. Wei Hai's teahouse was still the same. The door was open but not open. Inside, Wei Hai was lying on a deck chair, drinking tea and listening to zither music. You are so relaxed. After seeing Wang Yao, Wei Hai hurriedly got up. Hey, why are you here? Please take a seat. What tea would you like to drink? At this time, his face was ruddy and lustrous. He had also gained weight. When he spoke, he was full of confidence. These were all signs that his body had mostly recovered. How have you been feeling recently? Good, very good. My body has recovered and my mood has improved. Other than practicing Tai Chi and listening to ancient songs, I basically don't do anything else, Wei Hai said with a smile. In fact, he often went to hike recently. Although he had put down his business, he still had a family and a child. They were connected by blood. It would be a lie to say that he did not care about them. It was really strange. The more he did not manage things, the bigger his business became. He even earned more money than before. Let me take a look at you again. Wang Yao sat down and took Wei Hai's pulse. Yeah, I'm mostly better now. This is the medicine I brewed. Wang Yao took out the medicine that he had prepared in advance and told Wei Hai the dosage. This time, the dosage was appropriately increased. The next treatment was to completely eliminate the poisonous insects in the depths of the body, so the dosage had to be increased. Okay, thank you. After staying at Wang Yao's place for a while and drinking a cup of tea, he got up and prepared to go to Tian Yuantu's place. Don't bother. Let them come to my place. I'll treat them at noon, Wei Hai said. That's fine. Wang Yao thought for a while and said. Wei Hai then made a few phone calls. Not long after, Tian Yuantu, Zhou Xiong and his son, Wang Mingbao, and Li Maoshuang all came to Wei Hai's tea shop. The shop, which had been a little quiet, suddenly became lively. Going to Jing again? Yes, it should be a long time, Wang Yao said. This trip to Jing would take at least a week, or even longer. He first checked Tian Yuantu's condition. Although his body was still thin, his complexion was much better. His eyes also had some light. Good, your condition is getting better. Then Wang Yao gave him a massage, which was also a kind of auxiliary treatment. Your sister-in-law has been learning this from an old Chinese medicine doctor recently, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. Massage. That's right. When you're free, you can ask her to learn from you. Okay, Wang Yao said with a smile. Then, it was Zhou Wukong's turn. He had already taken medicine in the morning. Zhou Xiong also used his own method to massage his blood, but the effect was naturally not as good as Wang Yao's unique method. After being busy for a while, it was already noon. They went to the nearby restaurant to have lunch. Then, they went back to their own homes. In summer, noon was the hottest. A proper lunch break was necessary. Wang Yao did not stay. He made an appointment with Tian Yuantu to go to hike the next morning. Then, he drove home. When he got home, he was surprised to find that his uncle was also at home with a sad face. Uncle Yao is back. Yes. After sitting with his uncle for a while, Wang Yao knew why he was there. To borrow money. His mother-in-law needed cardiovascular stenting surgery. He had just bought a house, and most of the money was from Wang Yao. He did not have any spare money, so he came to borrow some. Cardiovascular blockage? Wang Yao asked. Yes, I almost had a heart attack. Fortunately, I went to the hospital early. Wang Yao had seen his uncle's mother-in-law. He was an open-minded old man. He could drink half a liter of alcohol. He also spoke happily. I'll go get it. After asking for the amount, Wang Yao drove to town. He came back with 30,000 yuan and handed it to his uncle. His uncle did not stay for dinner. He took the money and left in a hurry. Can you treat his mother-in-law's illness? I'm not sure. I have to see the situation. Take some time to see him. He's in the hospital now. After all, he was his brother. Although Zhang Xiuying said he did not care, he still tried to help as much as he could. Okay, Wang Yao agreed. After dinner, Wang Yao went up the hill. He had already prepared the sanyang powder. He would go to hike the next day and try to rush back in the morning to go to the hospital. He had to visit the patient in the morning. It was for good luck. The next morning, he woke up early and drove to Hike City with Tian Tuyuan, as he had agreed to meet him there. After seeing Secretary Yang's mother, Wang Yao immediately diagnosed her. Her condition was naturally good. The effect of the medicine was obvious. The heavy accumulated cold in her body was dissipating like ice and snow melting. She looked much better. After leaving the medicine and the method of taking the medicine, Wang Yao declined her repeated invitation to stay and left. It was already past 11 a.m. when he returned to Lianshan County. Wang Yao then went to the county hospital to buy some things to visit the old man. His uncle was not there, but his aunt was. She had been pregnant for several months. Her belly was very obvious. Wang Yao. His aunt did not expect him to come. Aunt, Grandpa. Wang Yao put the gifts aside. He sat down and asked. His aunt said that a specialist would come from Shanghai next Monday. She had already made an appointment to ask the specialist to help with the surgery. Can I take a look at you? The old man lying on the bed was stunned. He did not know that the young man in front of him, whom he had only met a few times, knew medicine. Yao knows medicine, his aunt explained. She had not seen it before, but she had heard Wang Yao's uncle mention it. Okay, you can take a look, the old man said with a smile. He did not take it seriously. Wang Yao knew what the disease was as soon as he put his hand on it. The meridians in the heart were blocked. Nowadays, medical conditions were very developed, especially detection equipment. Taking a CT scan could clearly see the condition of the internal organs, and it was easy to determine where the problem was. However, treatment was another story. Are you going to have the surgery? Yes, the doctor said that if we don't do it now, his life will be in danger, his aunt said. Wang Yao was silent for a while. He could treat this disease. Theoretically speaking, it was similar to Wang Fengxiang's disease. I can prescribe a medicine for Grandpa to try and see how it works, Wang Yao said. Okay, his aunt said. Although she did not say it, Wang Yao knew that his aunt did not believe him. Fortunately, they were relatives. Otherwise, Wang Yao would not bother with these things. Moreover, decocting the medicine required licorice root. After staying in the hospital for a while, Wang Yao left. Not long after he left, his uncle came to the hospital with food. His aunt told his uncle what had just happened. He said he was going to prescribe a medicine? Yes, didn't he study biology when he was in school? When did he know how to treat patients? I don't know, but he really knows how to treat patients. After several contacts, Zhang Xiugao knew a little about his nephew's ability. He did know how to treat patients. Recently, the old man had been coughing blood. After taking a few decoctions he decocted, the old man recovered quickly. His ability was better than a considerable number of doctors. When he is done, let Dad try it. Maybe it works. Okay, let's try it. After returning home, Wang Yao told his parents about it. Mom, let my uncle know in advance. If it works, don't say anything. Wang Yao had not prepared the medicine yet. Okay. There was one more job. Wang Yao went up the hill after dinner and prepared the medicine. There were still several ziyu. It was enough to decoct a medicine. After preparing the medicine, Wang Yao calmed down and recorded the diagnosis and treatment of the patients he had seen in the past few days. It was a rare accumulation of experience. That night, the weather forecast said there would be heavy rain and strong wind in the next few days. After hearing that, Wang Yao walked around the hill under the night sky. He did not know what the effect of the battle array would be in the heavy rain and strong wind. Ziyu, one grass with 2 leaves. Wang Yao chose one and picked 1 leaf. The herbs he planted were not fully grown. It was a bit of a waste to use them now, but there was no other way. The next morning, Wang Yao began to decoct the medicine. He made a fire, boiled water, and added the medicine. The process seemed boring, but it was also interesting and meaningful. He added the herbs one by one. Ziyu was at the end. The roll of the 1-leaf grass was the finishing touch. It was the qualitative change of the medicine. It's done. There was a hint of purple in the green. The medicine was almost the same as the one he made for Wang Fengxiang. He just added a few pieces of ginseng. After filling the medicine, Wang Yao went down the hill and drove to Lianshan County. Chapter 261. Wang Yao's uncle was also in the county hospital. Uncle, aunt, Wang Yao said. Yao, you're here. Have a seat, Wang Yao said. You don't have to bring anything, Wang Yao said. Wang Yao put down the gifts and sat for a while. Then, He took out the decoction he had brewed. This is a decoction. You can try it and see if it works, Wang Yao said. Wang Yao put down the decoction and said a few words to his uncle and aunt. He told them the dosage of the decoction and gave them some instructions. Then, he left. Dad, why don't you try it? Wang Yao's uncle asked. Okay, I'll try it, Wang Yao said. The decoction was still warm and did not taste bad. After drinking it, his stomach felt warm. The warmth quickly spread to all parts of his body. It was summer, but it was not summer yet. The windows in the hospital were open and the air conditioner was not on, so it was a little hot. After drinking the decoction, Wang Yao felt a little hot and sweaty. Dad, how do you feel? Wang Yao's aunt asked. She did not have any confidence in the decoction made by her nephew. She was afraid that her father would have another accident if he was not cured. It's okay, just a little hot, Wang Yao said. Soon, he felt a little hot and painful in his chest, as if he was being pricked by needles. What's wrong, Dad? My chest hurts a little, Wang Yao said. I'll call the doctor, Wang Yao's aunt said. Soon, the doctor came to the ward. The doctor asked them, but they did not dare to say anything about the decoction. It was just sudden. After observing for a while, Wang Yao felt that the pain was slowly weakening. The doctor also felt that there should be no problem, so he went back. Don't take the decoction, Wang Yao said. You have to listen to the doctor. Yes, you have to use folk prescriptions carefully, Wang Yao said. The people in the same ward were trying to persuade Wang Yao's aunt. They had seen and heard what had just happened. It was quite dangerous for a patient with myocardial infarction to have such a condition. It could be life-threatening. How can a biology student cure diseases? Wang Yao's aunt asked. After that, she didn't let her father take the medicine again. After lunch, the more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. She directly poured Wang Yao's medicine into the toilet bowl in the bathroom and flushed it down the drain. It was a pity for those wild medicinal herbs. What a pity for that one leaf of spiritual grass. What a waste of this medicine. Fortunately, Wang Yao was not here. Otherwise, who knew what he would think? If she let her father try again, perhaps there would be an unexpected surprise. Unfortunately, things were just so coincidental. The medicine that Wang Yao had painstakingly brewed was wasted just like that. Not only did it not have any effect, but it also caused a lot of complaints. Of course, he did not know that now. Mom, I'm back. After returning home, Wang Yao first greeted his mother at home. The medicine has been delivered. Yes, Wang Yao said. Look at my aunt. She doesn't believe me at all. Don't ask any more, Wang Yao said. Okay. Wang Yao's mother responded. She was not very happy. Not long after Wang Yao returned home, his father also came back from outside. After lunch, Wang Yao went out to prepare to go to Nanshan Hill. When he passed by the entrance of the alley, he happened to see Wang Fengxiang, who was holding the wall to exercise. Uncle, are you better? Yes, much better, Yao. Seeing that it was Wang Yao, Wang Fengxiang hurriedly responded. Don't go too far. Exercise properly. Okay, come in and have a seat. No, I'm going up the hill, Wang Yao said with a smile. Okay, come home when you have time. Okay. Wang Yao went up Nanshan Hill. He packed his things and prepared to go to Jing. First, he booked a plane ticket to Jing on the internet. He was going to leave the day after tomorrow. At noon, the weather was very hot. However, Wang Yao's herbal field was very cool. After a suitable lunch break, Wang Yao took out a folding stool and sat outside. He had the natural classics in his hand, a cup of tea, and a scroll of scriptures. He sat there for the whole afternoon. The dog quietly lay beside him and listened to him read the scriptures in a low voice. He kept reading until the sky turned yellow. San Xian, do you understand? He looked down at the dog lying beside him and asked with a smile. Woof. The dog barked as an answer. Oh, listen more and comprehend it well. Maybe you can become a spirit. Wang Yao smiled and patted the dog's head. The dog squinted its eyes and seemed to enjoy it very much. When he returned home in the afternoon, another relative came to visit. It was his aunt. And, "Hey, Yao is back." Wang Yao found that there were tears in the corners of his aunt's eyes. It seemed that she had just cried. Wang Yao's father stayed aside and smoked. It was obvious that he was angry. Wang Yao knew it was probably because of his uncle. He was a junior, so it was not appropriate for him to ask more questions. He just poured a glass of water and then got up and went back to his room. Not long after, his aunt left. "What's the matter, Mom?" he asked as he went out of the room. "It's all about your uncle. He's in his 40s, but he does nothing at home all day. He doesn't go out to look for a job. He also loses his temper. Now it's even worse. He's going to Jianan." "What's he going to do there?" Zhang Xiuying said. Wang Yao rubbed his forehead after hearing that. His two uncles were more troublesome than the other. He had no choice but to have such relatives. "I'll think of a way to see if I can find a job for him." "Wait, Jianan. Wang Zhong is in Jianan, right?" His father had 4 brothers. Wang Yao's second uncle had an accident while working outside when he was in his 40s and passed away early. His second aunt remarried to Jianan with his cousin, who was already in his teens at the time. In previous years, that cousin would come back to visit his family every New Year. Since Wang Yao's grandfather and grandmother passed away one after another, he rarely came back. He even called less and gradually lost contact with them. Did he want to go to Jianan because he wanted to find his cousin who had not contacted him for a long time? He did not know how his cousin was living there. He wanted to go and trouble him. It was better to help sooner rather than later. Wang Yao's sister-in-law had already said that she had had enough of her life. The matter with Wang Yao's third uncle had not been settled yet. She did not want to cause Wang Yao's family to divorce. Wang Yao thought about it. He still had to trouble others. Last time, he had troubled Tian Yuantu with his third uncle's matter. This time, he could not trouble him again. So, he called Wei Hai. "Relatives? Looking for a job? No problem." Wei Hai on the other end of the phone agreed very quickly. His business was quite big. Although it was not as big as Tian Yuantu's, it was not that far behind. In Lianshan County, there were 2 cold storage plants built by the aquatic products company he founded. It was not a problem to arrange personal work and provide for an idle person. After 10 minutes, Wang Yao received a call from Wei Hai. The work had been arranged. He could choose between the 2 cold storage plants. "Okay, thank you." "Hey, it's not a big deal," Wei Hai said with a smile. Wang Yao told his father about the matter. "Dad, can you find time to tell my uncle?" "Okay. Persuade him not to be like my third uncle." He stayed at home for another day. On the 3rd day, Wang Yao took the prepared things and told his family that the focus was still on the herbal field. Then, he directly took a taxi to Hike City Airport. He boarded the plane and flew straight to Beijing. Beijing was still as grand and prosperous as before. After getting off the plane, Wang Yao directly took a taxi. He was ready to go to the place where he stayed when he came here last time. On the way, he thought about it. Go to the Hilton Hotel. He had heard of the name of the hotel chain. Today was a good time to have a look. "Okay," the driver said. In the taxi, Wang Yao saw that the driver in Beijing was very eloquent and knowledgeable. From the international economic situation to the Somali pirates, from the unofficial history of the Ming and Qing dynasties to domestic secrets, he really knew everything. Wang Yao felt that he was not as good as him. In the car, Wang Yao also saw the congestion in Beijing again. Even the odd-even traffic restrictions were still unable to solve the congestion in this international metropolis. The time from the airport to the hotel was enough for Wang Yao to drive from Hike to Lianshan County and back. After getting out of the car, Wang Yao looked at the 10-story hotel in front of him. It was indeed an international group. It was very stylish and typical of the modern style. The waitress was very beautiful. She was dressed professionally and had a standard smile. Chapter 262. Wang Yao directly asked for the presidential suite. Coincidentally, no one had booked it. It was very difficult to book such a room. In fact, he didn't have any other thoughts. He just wanted to experience it. He had always heard about it from somewhere. Now that he had the conditions, he wanted to stay there for a night. The room was very big and luxurious. What kind of standards would be followed when designing such a room? In Wang Yao's opinion, it was simple, the best of everything. Yes, the furniture, carpet, and sound system were all the best in the world. Even a cup would cost at least a few thousand yuan. A sound system was comparable to a luxury car. There was also a 24-hour butler service. It was very luxurious and very decadent. The person in charge of serving Wang Yao was a young woman. She was tall and beautiful. She was not much worse than those movie stars. Wang Yao was dressed ordinarily. He didn't look like a rich person. It was true that one couldn't judge a book by its cover. He had a suitcase with some clothes in it. After putting it down, he walked around the big house that was hundreds of square meters. It was luxurious, but the house was too big. Living in a house was important. It was a taboo to not have enough space. However, people nowadays didn't care about that. No one would stay in such a room for a long time. The accommodation cost of more than 10,000 yuan a day was not something that anyone could afford. After staying there for a night, Wang Yao took a taxi to Su Xiaoshue's house the next day. "Dr. Wang, you are here." After seeing Wang Yao, Song Ruiping was very surprised. She thought that he would come back, but she didn't expect him to come. "Please come in." She smiled and let Wang Yao into the house. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I could have arranged for someone to pick you up." "It's okay. I was ready. Of course I would come. Let's take a look at Miss Su's illness first." "Okay." The two of them went to Su Xiaoshue's ward. She was still lying under the gauze curtain as before, but the bandages on her body were much less. Half of her limbs were exposed. When she heard someone enter the room, she turned to look at Wang Yao. "Hello. Hello, Dr. Wang." His hoarse voice was very soft. If one didn't listen carefully, they wouldn't even be able to hear it. Wang Yao was stunned. She was actually able to speak and recognize him. This was a very good sign. "Let me show you." "All right." Wang Yao sat beside the bed, his fingers resting on the newly grown skin. The illness was still there, but it was much milder. "Shall we start the treatment?" "All right." The diluted muscle revitalization powder was put into a special atomizer. Then, it was gently sprayed on Su Xiaoshue's skin. This way, it would spread more evenly. There was a faint fragrance in the air. Su Xiaoshue felt very comfortable when the medicine was sprayed on her body. It was as if she was basking in a natural cool breeze. The heat in her body was dispelled and spread from the outside to the inside. Wang Yao had seen more than half of the girl's body except for her private parts. More than half of the bottle of medicine had been used up. "How about we get someone else to take over the remaining places?" Wang Yao said. "All right." The remaining parts would be taken care of by the medical staff of Su Xiaoshue's family. Knowing that Wang Yao had come, Su Xiaoshue's father took some time out of his busy schedule to meet him and express his gratitude again. Hilton Hotel? When Su Xiaoshue and her husband heard that Wang Yao was staying there, they were slightly stunned. "Mr. Wang, do you feel that the previous arrangement is not suitable?" Song Ruiping asked softly. "No, I don't mean that. I just want to have a look." Wang Yao waved his hand and smiled. "I just want to experience it." Su Xianghua smiled after hearing that. Su Xianghua and her husband sincerely invited Wang Yao to stay for lunch, but Wang Yao declined with a smile. He returned to the hotel and tasted the Western food in the hotel. He felt that the taste was not bad. The hotel paid attention to the platter. After paying the bill in the afternoon, he went to the small courtyard. Chen Ying was still there. After seeing Wang Yao, she smiled and greeted him. Her smile came from the bottom of her heart. This was a sincere welcome. Just now, Mrs. Wang called to ask why you suddenly wanted to stay in that kind of hotel, Chen Ying said with some confusion. I suddenly wanted to stay there and try it out, so I went. That's it? Yes, what do you think? Chen Ying was speechless. She thought too much. In fact, such a small courtyard was more comfortable and convenient to live in. How is your brother's illness? Is he getting better? He is much better after taking the medicine you gave him, Chen Ying said. Well, that's good. How long do you plan to stay here this time? About a week? Wang Yao came to Jing this time to achieve 3 goals in Su Xiaoshue's treatment: detoxification, unblocking meridians, and regenerating skin. In Su Xiaoshue's house, Chen Lao, there should be some medicine left in it, right? Song Ruiping held the special spray Wang Yao used in her hand. There must be, the skinny old man sitting next to her said. Can you analyze the composition? No, Chen Lao said with a smile. Song Ruiping had asked this question more than once. He knew that Song Ruiping would not give up, but it was very difficult to analyze the composition of a Chinese medicine without knowing the composition of the medicine. In fact, such work had been done abroad. They tried to analyze the active components of Chinese medicine and extract them. As a result, the whole process consumed a lot of manpower and material resources. It seemed to be successful, but the effect was not ideal. This was the magic of Chinese medicine. Yin and Yang were compatible, and the 5 elements were generated. It was in accordance with the principles of heaven and earth. Song Ruiping sighed slightly. What did Dr. Wang say this time? He said there are 3 main aspects to treatment: detoxification, unblocking meridians, and regenerating skin. Well, that's the principle, Chen Lao said. He was able to diagnose Su Xiaoshue's illness, but he didn't have a good treatment. The effect of acupuncture alone was limited. He didn't have Wang Yao's miraculous medicine, so he could only look at Su Xiaoshue's illness and sigh. He still had vision. His decades of experience in medicine were not comparable to Wang Yao's. Mr. Guo's health is getting worse and worse, right? Chen Lao suddenly said such a sentence for no reason. Yes, I don't think he can survive this month, Song Ruiping said. If this young man with extraordinary medical skills can help, he may be able to survive for another year or so, Chen Lao said. Guo Sairu has asked him for help no less than 3 times. It seems that he can't do anything, Song Ruiping said. The things between these aristocratic families could not be hidden. After all, there were too many eyes watching in the dark. Too many people wanted to replace them. A big tree is about to fall. Without him, how long can they last? The overall situation is tentative, Song Ruiping said softly. As long as there are no big problems, there will be no problem in 10 years. However, the momentum of Guo's eldest son will stop here. With her identity, she was naturally very sensitive to politics. She also knew a lot of insider information. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. This sentence was suitable to be used in political battles. Sometimes, these old people could change the outcome of a battle by living a few more days. Has Dr. Li been to see him? Yes, he has, the thin old man said with a smile. I can't do anything. I can't treat him, and he can't do anything. One of us is half a caddy, while the other is 8 ounces. There is not much difference between us. They should know that Wang Yao has come to Jing City. The timing is just right. In the small courtyard, Wang Yao was holding a scroll of Taoist scripture and softly reading it. When the sky was about to turn dark, a guest arrived. Guo Sairu was still beautiful, but there was indescribable fatigue in her eyes. Miss Guo, welcome. Dr. Wang, why did you come to Jing City? I just arrived yesterday. Can you, Go and see Mr. Guo again? Wang Yao asked directly. Yes. Guo Sairu's eyes were full of expectation. Wang Yao did not say anything. He looked up at the sky. It's inauspicious to see him at night. I'll visit him tomorrow morning. Thank you. Guo Sairu left. Wang Yao was in the courtyard looking at the night sky of Jing City. Mr. Guo's life was like the evening. He would enter the night eventually. It was unstoppable. This was the natural law of birth, old age, illness, and death. He had forcibly interfered with it once. This time, even if he had the prolongation pill, he did not plan to use it again. Once the pill was used, it would cause a lot of trouble. The sky in Jing City is not very good. Wang Yao looked at the sky and sighed. Chapter 263. What did a person look like when they were about to die of old age? Quite a number of people had never seen it before. What did a big shot look like when they were about to die of old age? Most people had never seen it before. They couldn't even imagine it. They had only seen it once or twice on the news. Actually, it was almost the same. Lying on the bed, breathing weakly, surrounded by relatives. The doctors had tried their best, but they were not gods. There was an old man in such a situation now. Grandpa. The corners of Guo Sairu's eyes were filled with tears. Sairu, don't cry. The old man's voice was very soft, just like his life at this moment. A gust of wind could take it away. I've invited Dr. Wang. He'll be here soon. He's not a god. The old man sighed. Then, he looked around and saw that the room was full of people. His children and grandchildren were all here. In this life, he had grasped enough power. He had never cared about money. What made him happiest was his family. 4 generations living under the same roof. However, what worried him the most was his children and grandchildren. He was a big tree that could shelter them from the wind and rain. Once he fell, they would have to face the wind and rain outside alone. He was really worried. He sighed, but what could he do? His gaze was already starting to lose focus. He saw his mother, saw the smoke-filled battlefield, saw his comrades who had sacrificed themselves, and saw the crowd who welcomed them. He was going to leave. The rest was up to them. Dad, Grandpa. He could still hear the cries of his family. Goodbye. The old man closed his eyes, and the hand that was holding his granddaughter also fell. Grandpa, Dad. Everyone rushed to the front of the bed. They cried and shouted, hoping to make the old man stay. Crying? Wang Yao came out of the door and saw everything in front of him. The old man on the sickbed had already closed his eyes. The flame of life had already been extinguished. It seems that I'm a step late, Wang Yao said to himself when he saw the situation. Dr. Wang, you're here. Quick, take a look. Can my grandfather still be saved? As soon as she saw Wang Yao come in, Guo Sairu was like a drowning person who had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. All eyes in the room fell on Wang Yao. Most of them had never seen this young man before, but they had heard of his name and deeds. Thus, they made way for him, hoping that this young man could create another miracle. Wang Yao came to the window and reached out to check his pulse. The old man's heart had already stopped beating. Sorry. Wang Yao got up and said after diagnosing. Why don't you look again? His heart has already stopped beating. There's nothing I can do, Wang Yao said. My condolences. He had also thought about trying out the prolongation pill, to see if it would have any miraculous effect. And then, Guo Sairu sat down on the ground and cried. The person who loved her the most in the world had passed away. The entire room was filled with the sound of crying. Please restrain your grief. Wang Yao silently walked out of the room. Brother Wang. Just as he walked out of the door, a voice came from behind him. He turned around and saw that it was Guo Jinghe. There were tears in the corners of his eyes. What's the matter, Mr. Guo? Thank you, Guo Jinghe said sincerely. I didn't help at all. Wang Yao was a little apologetic. In fact, he could have given it a try. No, you came to help us, Guo Jinghe said. After a few simple words, Guo Jinghe went in. After all, the death of his grandfather was a big deal. After Wang Yao went out, Chen Ying was waiting in the car. So soon. Seeing that he came out so quickly, she was a little curious. At the same time, she had a bad feeling. The old man has passed away. I can't do anything, Wang Yao said. Chen Ying was silent for a moment. Then, she started the car and left. His old man passed away? Yes. I didn't expect him to pass away before me. After arguing for decades, it's time to send him off. That afternoon, it started to rain. Not sure if it was a coincidence or some other reason, the rain was quite heavy. It's raining. Wang Yao stayed in the small courtyard. He sat on a wooden stool, tasted fragrant tea, and looked at the sky. Are you still thinking about the old man? Chen Ying pulled a stool over and sat beside him. It's not just him, Wang Yao said. When will his funeral be held? I don't know. This is no longer just a matter of the Guo family. After all, the old man's identity is there. Politics and such things were indeed very complicated. The rain stopped in the middle of the night. The next morning, Wang Yao went to the Su family again. This time, in addition to using the muscle revitalization powder, he also brought another medicine, the blood deblicking powder. A new medicine? Song Ruiping also noticed it. This is another medicine I made. If taken orally, it can dredge the channels and collaterals. In terms of the dosage of the medicine, he could reduce a lot because Su Xiaoshue's situation was different from Zhou Wukong's. Although Zhou Wukong was a child and his body was very weak, his body recovered very quickly after treatment. When a child was growing, all aspects of his body were full of vitality like the rising sun. However, Su Xiaoxue was different. Her illness had almost dragged down her body. Although there had been a lot of improvement after a short period of treatment, she still couldn't fully support the slightly overbearing efficacy of the blood deblicking powder. Even if it was a very small amount, Wang Yao was very careful. He sat in front of the bed and checked her pulse from time to observe the situation after taking the medicine. Su Xiaoxue snorted. At this time, she didn't know how many hot currents were constantly rushing back and forth in her body. She was very uncomfortable. Is such a small dosage a bit too much? Wang Yao thought. It seems that I have to take it slowly. After waiting for more than an hour, Song Ruiping asked, How is it, Dr. Wang? It's okay. I'll bring this medicine the next time I come. Wang Yao put away the blood deblicking powder. Although the medicine had the effect of strengthening the muscles and collaterals, the effect was a bit strong. If it was not controlled well, it could have a bad effect. Okay. After confirming that the situation in Su Xiaoshue's body was stable, Wang Yao was relieved. Okay, today's treatment will end here. Hey, do you want to have lunch here? Song Ruiping asked. No, thank you. After returning to the small courtyard, Wang Yao immediately went into the room to record the medicine he gave Su Xiaoxue that day. The blood deblicking powder was definitely useful, but the dosage must be controlled. The medicine provided by the system also needs to be used according to the symptoms. Wang Yao was thinking as he recorded. The sound of cooking came from the kitchen outside, and there was also a tempting smell. After cooking, Chen Ying did not disturb Wang Yao. She waited outside until the sky darkened. At this time, it was already after the summer solstice. Since then, the days gradually became shorter and the nights gradually became longer. After waiting for a while, the dishes were about to get cold. Chen Ying called Wang Yao in his room. Okay, thank you. Chen Ying was cooking Shandong cuisine, but the taste was a bit lighter. It was not as fresh and salty. The next day, Wang Yao went to Su Xiaoshue's house. When he saw Su Xiaoxue, he also learned about the day of the old Master Guo's funeral. At his position, some people had to go to see him off. This was already an unwritten rule. Is Dr. Wang going too? Song Ruiping asked. This kind of farewell was not something that just anyone wanted to go. Yes, I'll go. Okay, I'll arrange it now, Song Ruiping said. Do you still need to arrange it? Of course. That day, Wang Yao did not give Su Xiaoxua any medicine. Instead, he mainly followed and observed the changes in her body. He planned to use the medicine the next day. Did someone treat her after I left yesterday? While checking her pulse, Wang Yao vaguely found something strange. Yes, Dr. Chen came and gave Xiaoxua acupuncture. Song Ruiping did not hide this matter. She was afraid that there would be a problem. Okay, Wang Yao said. No wonder her condition improved faster than he thought overnight. It was probably the combination of the medicine and acupuncture. 1 + 1 was greater than 2. Dr. Wang, is there anything wrong with asking someone to give you acupuncture? No, on the contrary, acupuncture and my medicine complement each other. It is beneficial. Oh, that's good. Song Ruiping was relieved. Chapter 264. Song Ruiping wanted to ask why Wang Yao didn't perform acupuncture himself, but she felt that it might make Wang Yao unhappy. She could only hide the question in her heart. Maybe Dr. Wang is not proficient in acupuncture. This was the most reasonable explanation. Master Guo's farewell ceremony was grand and solemn. For the first time, Wang Yao saw the big shots that he could only see on TV. This also reflected the extraordinary status of the old man. For this farewell ceremony, Wang Yao was just a passerby. Not many people paid attention to him. However, Guo Jinghe deliberately said a few more words to him. Who is this young man? Some of the people present noticed this detail, so they took another look at Wang Yao and memorized his appearance. Huh! A middle-aged man happened to see this scene. He was surprised. Why is he here? Why is he associated with the Guo family? These rich and powerful families were not people that anyone could climb up to just because they wanted to. Wang Yao didn't stay for too long. First of all, he was just a passerby. Second of all, he didn't know much about these rules. He only felt depressed, so he left early. For an old man who had been famous for half of his life, such a farewell was considered a grand farewell. He didn't know if his spirit in heaven could see it. It happened to be Saturday. Wang Yao called his aunt. She happened to be off work, so he bought some things to visit his relatives in Jing City. When he saw his aunt again, her complexion was better than last time. She was rosy and shiny. Her face was full of smiles. In fact, sometimes a person's health could be seen from his or her expression without feeling the pulse. This was one of the 4 diagnostic methods, Wang Yao. If a person was in a good mood and had a smile on his or her face, he or she would be happy all day. Generally, there would be no problems with the body. As the saying goes, relax and gain weight. If a person frowned all day and was depressed, it would be fine for a short period of time. Therefore, it was very important to be in a good mood. In the evening, Wang Yao stayed at his second aunt's house for dinner. She made a table full of dishes. His second aunt was in good health. However, when his second uncle came back at around 7 o'clock, Wang Yao saw that his expression was not very good. Uncle, you've lost a lot of weight compared to last time. Yes, I've been quite busy in the company recently, so I'm tired. Shall I show you? Sure. His uncle smiled and sat down. Wang Yao took his pulse. It's not a big problem. After a while, Wang Yao removed his hand. Your stomach is not well, so you need to take good care of it. There are some problems with your lumbar spine. I think it's because you've been driving for too long. His uncle was a retired soldier. When he was in the army, he was the chief's chauffeur. He had been driving for more than 20 years. Chauffeurs usually had weak lumbar vertebrae and cervical vertebrae. This was considered an occupational disease. Well, it's an old problem, Li Xianghong said with a smile. Does Yao have a solution? Zhang Xiufang asked. She knew about her husband's problems. Yes, I can give you a massage, Wang Yao said with a smile. I'll give you a demonstration. If you have time, you can also help my uncle to relax his muscles and bones. Okay, I'll learn it, Zhang Xiufeng said. After that, Wang Yao began to give Li Xianghong a massage. His speed was very slow. He mainly used the massage method around her neck. It was easy to learn. Ordinary people could not learn the acupoints and meridians in a short time. Therefore, he only taught some simple techniques to apply force. The general position was good, so the effect was still there. As Wang Yao applied force, Li Xianghong only felt that the area around her neck began to heat up. The previous soreness gradually weakened. How do you feel, uncle? Well, it's quite comfortable. Yao, you really know a lot. Haha, this is a medical skill, Wang Yao said with a smile. After the neck massage, it was the waist. At this time, Wang Yao needed to lie down. The method of applying force was a bit different. Wang Yao tried to make it as simple as possible. He emphasized some precautions. The force should be from light to heavy. If you feel swelling or soreness, it's okay. If you feel pain like needles, stop immediately. Massage did not seem to cause any harm to the human body. In fact, many people had their vertebrae damaged because of misconceptions. On the contrary, there were fewer cases of internal organs being damaged. Done. After more than an hour, Wang Yao finished the massage. Phew, it's so comfortable. You're amazing, Li Xianghong said. She praised sincerely. This massage made his neck and waist feel much more comfortable, and it seemed that the tiredness of the day had also dissipated quite a bit. Hey, it's already so late. Hurry up and eat. Yes, eat. It was Saturday. Wang Yao's cousin had also come back from school. She was as tall and thin as before. No, she seemed to be thinner. Hiss. Seeing this cousin, Wang Yao frowned slightly. This is not a good thing. What's wrong, Yao? Zhang Xiufeng saw Wang Yao's abnormal reaction and asked softly. Nothing. I suddenly thought of something. Wang Yao smiled. Let's eat. During dinner, Wang Yao only talked to his aunt and uncle. He only said a few words to his cousin. After dinner, he chatted with his aunt's family for a while. His cousin sat beside him. She seemed to have something on her mind and was absent-minded. When Wang Yao left, it was already past 9 p.m. Aunt, uncle, you can go upstairs. Okay, be careful on the road. After watching Wang Yao get into the car and leave, they turned and went upstairs. In the car, Wang Yao said to Chening, who came to pick him up, "Didn't I say that you don't need to pick me up? Anyway, I have nothing to do there. I just came out to get some fresh air," Chening said with a smile. Okay. Wang Yao looked out of the car window. At his aunt's house. Hey, do you think Nana has something on her mind recently? Zhang Xiuying asked her husband. I think it's a bit strange. When we were eating just now, she was absent-minded, Li Xianghong said. Do you want to find time to ask her teacher? Okay, don't let her know. Chen Ying and his wife were very fond of their daughter. In the car, Wang Yao said without any reason, she is a senior in high school. She is not older than 18, right? What? Chen Ying, who was driving, was stunned. Nothing. I just think that students nowadays are precocious. It sounds precocious. Aren't universities allowed to get married and have children now? Get married and have children? Wang Yao laughed. University is about learning knowledge and learning ability. You can have romance, but you can't steal the limelight, Wang Yao said. Moreover, what does an 18-year-old girl know? When he said this, he was faintly angered. After all, she was his relative. When something happened to his cousin, the ones who were really worried were his aunt and uncle. What's wrong with Sir today? Chen Ying asked curiously. She felt that Dr. Wang's behavior was a little strange today. He still looked calm, but in fact, he was a little angry. After returning to the small courtyard, Wang Yao paced back and forth in the small courtyard under the night sky. How should I deal with this matter? He had never felt so sorry for her. A high school student and his cousin, there was a faint smell of cigarettes on her body. Looking at her face and the way she walked, she had lost her chastity. She might even be pregnant. Phew! Wang Yao let out a long sigh of relief. Out of the 4 methods of diagnosis, he had learned 3 of them at once. The most mysterious method of diagnosis was the observation method, and he had a rough idea about it through his own exploration. He was afraid that he had seen most of the things that had happened in Second Aunt's house just now. That cousin, until late at night, Wang Yao still hadn't thought of how to tell his aunt about this matter. Chenning saw that Wang Yao was still alone in the middle of the night, so she went up and asked, "Sir, is there anything I can help you with?" "It's nothing. Go to sleep." Wang Yao sighed and went back to the small room. Chenning looked at Wang Yao's back. "Is it because of your relative's family? 18 years old, cousin?" She could roughly understand with just a few words. "Is she in love?" Women like Chen Ying were extremely intelligent. She could get a lot of information from just a few words. Chapter 265. Puppy love was a topic that every parent couldn't avoid. They were worried that their children would delay their studies and even ruin their future because of puppy love. However, they couldn't stop it even if they wanted to. When Zhang Xiufang heard the words, puppy love, from her daughter's homeroom teacher, she was stunned. She only felt a buzzing in her head. How is this possible? How is this possible? Puppy love is strictly prohibited in the school, the teacher said. As a parent, you have to do something for your children when you go back. If this situation continues, we can only persuade her to drop out of school. The teacher made it very clear. This sentence was like a heavy hammer hitting Zhang Xiufang's heart. Zhang Xiufang went home with a heavy heart. What should I do? After Zhang Xiuying left, another person from this unremarkable school in Jing came to ask the same thing. Puppy love? Drop out of school? Is this considered a problem? In the morning, Wang Yao went to Su Xiaoshue's house. He used muscle revitalization powder externally to treat her. He used blood deblicking powder internally to dredge her meridians. At this time, Su Xiaoshue felt like she was in a world of fire and water. Her body was very comfortable on the outside, as if it was refreshed by the autumn wind. However, the inside of her body was a little hot, as if she was burning. How do you feel? Wang Yao asked softly. Su Xiaoshue was thinking about how to answer. Cold on the outside, hot on the inside, and like fire on the inside, Wang Yao continued. Yes, Su Xiaoshue replied in a hoarse voice. Bear with it for a while more, Wang Yao said softly. He was clear about the efficacy of blood deblicking powder. He had also tried it himself. This medicine was indeed warm for ordinary people after it entered the stomach. However, Su Xiaoshue's situation was different. Her body was already weak, and there was evil poison in her body. After the medicine entered her body, it was a test for her already fragile meridians. Okay. Su Xiaoshue responded softly. Over the years, she had endured pain that was several times more intense than this, so this pain was nothing. What a strong girl! Wang Yao secretly praised. The effect of the blood deblicking powder lasted for a period of time. It was a kind of pain and danger, but if one could endure it, it would be very beneficial to the body. The 2 licorice roots, Ziyu and polygonum vine, could unblock the meridians and collaterals, and the other could strengthen the muscles and bones. They were just right for the symptoms. However, the treatment process was somewhat painful. All right. Wang Yao stood up and said after making sure that the other party was fine. This time, the treatment took an entire morning, more than 4 hours. Thank you. I've already arranged for someone to prepare lunch. Dr. Wang, why don't you go back after eating? Song Ruiping asked. I won't bother you any longer. For the next few days, Wang Yao had rejected such an invitation several times, but Song Ruiping always made the same invitation every time. By the time he got home, Chen Ying had already prepared the meal. "Why are you back so late today?" "Sorry, the treatment process is a little slow." After dinner, Wang Yao was not in a hurry to go back to the house. Instead, he sat in the courtyard and thought about something. Chen Ying cleaned up the bowls and chopsticks. After thinking for a while, she sat down next to Wang Yao. "I went out today." "Huh?" Wang Yao was slightly startled. He turned to look at her, not knowing what she wanted to say. "Your cousin is called Lina, right?" "Yes, have you investigated her?" Wang Yao asked calmly. "Yes, what you said yesterday, I went back and thought it might have something to do with your cousin. So, I went to her school and asked something," Chen Ying said. "And then? Your cousin is in a relationship at a young age. Her academic performance is not ideal." "I know that," Wang Yao said. "Tell me something I don't know." "The school may expel her." "Expel?" Wang Yao was stunned for a while. He then rubbed his forehead. This was not something to be proud of in the current education system. In most cases, most schools would not accept students who were expelled from other schools. This would be recorded in the student's file. It was equivalent to a stain on the student's academic performance. "Can you handle it?" Wang Yao was silent for a moment. "I have already handled it," Chen Ying said calmly. "How did you handle it?" "The school will not expel your cousin." At the same time, they gave two suggestions. First, let your cousin transfer to another school. Second, let her sweetheart transfer to another school. Sweetheart? What does she know now? Which one do you choose? What? The two suggestions just now. If your cousin wants to transfer to another school, I can arrange it. I don't say she can choose any school in Beijing, but it's almost the same. As for the second suggestion, I will find a way to let the male student transfer to another school, Chen Ying said calmly. Sounds simple. It is indeed simple. Break up a couple, Chen Ying said with a smile. This kind of thing was too simple for Chen Ying, or to be precise, for the family behind her. Could be done with just one sentence. Let me think about it. Okay, I will go first. Chen Ying was as respectful as ever. Looking at Chen Ying's back, Wang Yao took a deep breath. The conversation just now made him realize two things. First, the power of the rich and powerful in Beijing was beyond imagination. Second, his words and actions were not steady enough. He often revealed some emotions and content in his words, which could be caught by the people around him. It was true that Chen Ying was helping him now. If it were other people, if it were in the hands of people who had conflicting interests or hatred with him, it could be his weakness. Could be easily used by others. These people in the capital, it's too tiring to live. He suddenly said this without any reason. When Su Xiaoshua's condition was better to a certain extent, he had to go back as soon as possible. However, he still had to talk to his aunt about this matter. I will go again in the evening. In the evening, Wang Yao went to his aunt's house again. He found that his aunt had a lot of things on her mind. Aunt, do you have something on your mind? Your sister is in a relationship at school. The teacher found out. Today, he told me that if she continues to be in a relationship, she will be expelled. Zhang Xiufang sighed. How could such a thing happen? She was now thinking about how to communicate with her daughter. She knew her daughter's temper. She had been spoiled by her father over the years. She had a temper and could not be beaten or scolded. Sigh. I have a suggestion. Hurry up and say it, Zhang Xiufang hurriedly said. Let Li Na and the boy separate, Wang Yao said. Separate? How? Transfer schools. Either Li Na or that boy will transfer schools. Transfer? Zhang Xiufang was in a dilemma. She had gone through a lot of trouble to get into her high school. Although this was Beijing, which had gathered the most famous schools in the country, not everyone could get into a famous school. One had to have excellent academic performance, outstanding personal ability, or strong connections. In her situation, she could only go to an ordinary high school. At this time, she was almost in her 3rd year of high school. How could she transfer? Which school would be willing to accept her? Think about it. I can think of a way to transfer, Wang Yao said. You? Yes, I have a friend who can help. Zhang Xiufang sat on the sofa and stared blankly at the coffee table. Should I ask Li Na to transfer? Okay, I suggest you talk to the boy again, Wang Yao said. Okay, I'll find time to talk to the child. Anyone would need to adapt to a new environment. At this juncture, no one would be willing to transfer schools if there were no special circumstances. Even if she transferred schools, if that boy came looking for her again, this layer of relationship would not be cut off. Do it as soon as possible. After leaving second aunt's house, Chen Ying, who was waiting outside, drove the car over. The two of them then left. Can I trouble you to contact the school? Okay, I'll contact them as soon as possible, Chen Ying said. Do you know the boy's name? Yes. Okay. Wang Yao felt that his second aunt would not have a good conversation with either his cousin or the boy. Now was the rebellious period. The so-called ignorant love could easily make people addicted. Young people had poor self-control. Once they were addicted, it was not easy to get out. It was very troublesome. The next day, around 9 a.m., when Wang Yao was about to leave, a guest came to the courtyard. It was a young man, Guo Zhenghe. Chapter 266. Brother Yao. Mr. Guo. Look, you still call me that, Guo Zhenghe said. Why are you still calling me Mr. Guo? What's the matter? Yes, I want to ask you to see a patient, Guo Zhenghe said. What patient? This is the patient's information. Take a look first. If you agree, I'll tell him. If you don't want to see him, I'll decline, Guo Zhenghe said as he handed him a file. Sun Yunxing. Wang Yao felt that the name was familiar. After looking at the case and diagnosis, it was even more familiar. He had seen this patient before. He was suffering from a rare, extreme Yang syndrome. He didn't expect that he was still alive. It had been several months since Wang Yao had diagnosed him. It was a miracle that he was still alive. What's wrong? I've seen this patient before in Dao, Wang Yao said bluntly. Yes, his family is indeed in Dao, Guo Zhenghe said. Since I've asked you, why didn't you treat him? Haha, maybe he's too young, Wang Yao said with a smile. At that time, it was true that Mr. Sun didn't trust him. This was understandable. Thinking about it from another perspective, such a young Chinese medicine practitioner was indeed not very reassuring. What about this matter? Let me think about it. Okay, I'll wait for your call. If you need anything, you can call me at any time. Guo Zhenghe didn't stay in the small courtyard for long. He then left. After Guo Zhenghe left, Wang Yao returned to the cottage and looked at the diagnosis information in his hand. He was clear about this disease. It was undoubtedly a difficult-to-treat disease. However, it had been a few months. He was afraid that the disease would only become more serious. In a villa in Jing, a handsome young man and a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes. Did he agree, Mr. Guo? The middle-aged man asked. Uncle Sun, don't call me that, Guo Zhenghe said very respectfully. Just call me by my name. You are my elder. Why didn't Uncle Sun take a look at him when he was in Dao last time? At that time, I thought he was young and misjudged him, Sun Jingrong said. At this moment, he was very regretful. At old Guo's memorial service, he accidentally saw Wang Yao and was very curious. He was originally related to the Guo family. After carefully asking around, he found out that this young man was actually a person that the Guo family treated with respect and had extraordinary medical skills. Last time, it was all thanks to him that Elder Guo was able to survive that calamity. At that time, he realized that he had underestimated Wang Yao. He also realized that the master's words were probably referring to Wang Yao. Thus, He thought of a way to meet the Guo family and asked them to introduce him to Wang Yao. Then, he found young Master Guo. I have already given him Yunxing's medical record. If he wants to diagnose him, he will call me back. If he doesn't want to, I will think of another way. You know, he is now a distinguished guest of the Su family, Guo Jinghe said. Thank you, Guo Jinghe. That's right, Wang Yao said. I've already told Mr. Li that he will make time to go to Dao City. Thank you. In the Su family's house, in a spacious and ventilated room, Song Ruiping carefully patted her daughter's skinny arms. She had been lying in bed for a long time. Even if she had a special method to stimulate her body, it could not stop her muscles from shrinking and degenerating. In the past, because her skin was festering, she did not dare to touch her at all. Now, new skin had grown on her arms and legs. She could gently touch them. She had also asked Dr. Chen. He said she could gently pat and vibrate them. With this external stimulation, the blood circulation and normal functions of the muscles could be restored. Of course, this effect was actually very slight. Xiaoxue, how do you feel? Much better than before. Being able to speak was a huge improvement. When she heard her daughter call her mom, again after more than a year, Song Ruiping's eyes were filled with tears. She felt that her efforts all these years were worth it. She really should thank Dr. Wang. The Su family owed him a big favor. Wang Yao had already told Chen Boyuan about the cost of the medicine. Whether it was the muscle revitalization powder or the blood deblinking powder, they were all prescriptions provided by the system. They were sold at a fixed price. Moreover, the Su family did not lack the money. Even if they paid for the consultation and medicine, they still felt that they owed Wang Yao a big favor. He doesn't have any other requests. It was not that Wang Yao did not have no desires. He just did not have any at the last minute. That afternoon, Zhang Xiufang did not go to work. She tried to find a way to meet the young man who was dating her daughter. He was of medium height. Both of them were skinny. His appearance could be considered decent. Zhang Xiufang was actually a housewife who was not good with words. She really did not know how to say such things. However, she still had to say what needed to be said. You and Lina are still young. Now that you are in school, you have to prioritize your studies. Half an hour later, the two of them parted on bad terms. Zhang Xiufang's sincere and heartfelt teachings didn't reach the youth at all. He looked like an honest child, but when he spoke, he was quite blunt. With just a few words, he rebutted Zhang Xiufang quite badly. Auntie, we are not young anymore. There are some things that we can decide for ourselves. They were not young anymore. They had not graduated from high school and had not come into contact with real society. How could they decide for themselves? The more Zhang Xiufang thought about it, the angrier she got. One had to know that under most circumstances the girl would be the one at a disadvantage in puppy love. I have to ask Lina to transfer to another school. She finally made a decision. Then, she called Wang Yao. Okay, I got it, Auntie. Wang Yao answered very calmly. He could hear a hint of anger in his aunt's tone. Obviously, her conversation with the young man was not pleasant. After hanging up the phone, he looked up at Chen Ying, who was busy in the kitchen. Help me make an appointment with that young man. ASAP. Okay, Chen Ying replied. By the way, what's his name? Zhang Fei. What? Wang Yao was stunned. Valiant General? No, Fei as in right and wrong. Okay. At night, the night view of Beijing was very bright. In a high-end restaurant, Wang Yao, Chen Ying, and Zhang Fei, who looked quite honest, were all in the restaurant. Wang Yao stared at the young man in front of him. His eyes were very calm. Zhang Fei, who was sitting opposite him, felt uncomfortable all over. This was the first time he had been to such a high-end restaurant. His breath was uneven, his spirit was unstable, and his footsteps were light. He was young, but he showed signs of excessive indulgence. This was not a good thing. The dishes were served. They were exquisite Huaiyang dishes. Let's eat first. Wang Yao picked up his chopsticks first. Zhang Fei was very reserved and felt very uncomfortable. While eating, Wang Yao looked at the young man sitting opposite him from time to time. Soon, Zhang Fei's body was sweating. There was also sweat on his forehead. Not only him, but Chen Ying also felt that Wang Yao suddenly had an oppressive aura. From now on, leave Li Na. Don't contact her again. Wang Yao's words were also very calm, but there was an imposing aura that could not be disobeyed. When he said this, Zhang Fei's hand that was holding the chopsticks trembled. The chopsticks almost fell. Why? I really like Li Na. Zhang Fei raised his head and looked at Wang Yao said. Wang Yao laughed. Then what's the matter with He Wenmei? Before asking him out, Wang Yao asked Chen Ying to carefully investigate the young man in front of him. If he did not investigate, he would not know. Once he did, he was shocked. This seemingly shy young man had been in a relationship since junior high school. When he was in high school, he was even more impressive. He had not been idle since the first year of high school. Now, he was two-timing. On one hand, he was dating Li Na. On the other hand, he was dating a girl named He Wenmei. If he did not investigate in advance, he might have been deceived by this young man. He seemed to be quite honest. Young people nowadays were so powerful. Were they all good at acting? Wang Yao remembered that when he was at this age, he would never be able to hide from such a shy lie. After hearing this sentence, Zhang Fei's expression changed. You investigated me. In an instant, his expression became somewhat ferocious. The speed of his expression change was quite shocking. I did. The content is very rich, Wang Yao said calmly. The young man in front of him looked shy and seemed to be very honest. However, his heart was in a different situation. If this continued, he would definitely become a black-bellied person. Perhaps he would harm many people. Chapter 267. Zhang Fei gritted his teeth and clenched his fist. Break it off tomorrow, Wang Yao said simply. He was starting to dislike the young man in front of him. What if I say no? Ha! Wang Yao laughed. Ignorance is bliss. Wang Yao knocked on the table gently. With a crack, the solid wooden table cracked from the middle. Zhang Fei was dumbfounded. Your parents are just ordinary workers. They hope that you can study hard and have a good future so that they can be proud of you. Wang Yao did not say anything, or rather, he was too lazy to talk to him. Instead, it was Chen Ying who spoke. They probably don't want their son to be expelled from high school. Her tone was also very calm. Zhang Fei's face was indeed getting paler. Even if I can't get into university, I can still support myself. I'll have to trouble you with this matter. Wang Yao suddenly got up and said to Chen Ying. No problem, Chen Ying said with a smile. Then, Wang Yao got up and left. Let's eat, Chen Ying said with a smile. She was a woman, but she knew a lot of things. She knew kung fu, cooking, and other things, such as psychology, interrogation, and torture. It was more than enough to deal with a young man. Let's go somewhere else to talk. Chen Ying drove the car under the night sky. She went to a place and had an in-depth conversation with Zhang Fei. In the end, Zhang Fei returned home in a daze. His face was pale, as if he had seen an evil ghost. Under the night sky, Wang Yao stayed in the small courtyard, looking at the sky of Beijing, until Chen Ying came back. Is the matter settled? Yes, Chen Ying said. He was just a young boy. Over the years, she had worked for the Su family and had seen all kinds of people. She had also seen many young scions of aristocratic families. No matter how much some people hated the rich and the powerful, she had to admit that most of the scions of aristocratic families had some ability in all aspects. She had seen those amazingly talented scions, and compared to them, Zhang Fei was like a child who had been crippled. Thank you, Wang Yao said. You're too polite, Chen Ying hurriedly replied. This was really nothing to her. I'm good at treating illnesses, but I'm not good at these things, Wang Yao said calmly. I've contacted the schools. Which one do you think is suitable? Chen Ying handed a list to Wang Yao. He took the list and looked at it. It was a list of famous schools in the capital. Many parents tried their best to get their children into these schools. Thank you. I'm flattered that you're so polite, Chen Ying said with a smile. How about I ask my second aunt? All right, there's no hurry. Wang Yao took a picture of the list and sent it to his second aunt, asking her to discuss it with his uncle before making a decision. He owed Chen Ying a favor, although the Su family was definitely behind this matter. A debt of gratitude was the hardest to repay. The night in the capital was brilliant, but it was a little hot in the summer. Su Xiaoxue was lying in the hospital bed. Her body was still burning, but she could endure it. She had received several treatments in the past few days. The magic of Dr. Wang's medicine was undeniable. The skin on the outside of her body had scabbed, and most of it had recovered very well. The burning sensation in her body was also gradually subsiding. In the endless suffering, she saw hope. It was like seeing light in the darkness. Living was difficult, but as long as there was hope, it was worth it no matter how difficult it was. In the small courtyard, Wang Yao was making notes in his notebook under the light. Tomorrow, in addition to muscle growth and blood unblocking, he would add another medicine: detoxification. The medicine was not complicated. Wang Yao planned to boil the detoxification grass in water and add 1 or 2 auxiliary medicines. He had all these medicines in his grid. The next morning, Wang Yao got up very early. After practicing boxing in the small courtyard, he stopped and began to prepare things. Are you going to decoct the medicine? Yes. Can I learn? Of course, Wang Yao said with a smile. After breakfast, Wang Yao started a fire to decoct the medicine. Chen Ying sat quietly by the side. The firewood was burning, and the water in the medicine pot boiled. Wang Yao added a small section of shanjing into the pot. In fact, ginseng could also be used, but shanjing's medicinal power was relatively mild. There is actually a lot of knowledge in decocting the medicine, Wang Yao said. What kind of herbs to use, whether the medicinal power is conflicting, what kind of firewood to use, the intensity of the fire, the addition of the herbs. Wang Yao said as he added firewood. So, there is a lot of knowledge in decocting the medicine? Chen Ying exclaimed. If you really want to learn, you have to learn how to identify the herbs first. At first, when I saw you decocting the medicine, it was easy for you. It seems that I can't learn it. Chen Ying sighed. It's not too late to learn now, Wang Yao said. It was very difficult. After all, not everyone had the innate advantage of the system like Wang Yao. A lot of medical knowledge was poured into one's mind in the form of enlightenment. With such a huge amount of knowledge, it would take years of hard work to memorize it. Moreover, it would be impossible to use it skillfully. The decoction was very simple. The last leaf of the detoxification herb dissolved in the water. The decoction was emerald green and emitted a faint herbal fragrance. There was no multifunctional pot for herbs, so Wang Yao needed to filter the decoction with a filter prepared in advance to filter out the dregs of the decoction. Green decoction? Chen Ying had seen a lot of decoctions, but it was the first time she had seen such a beautiful color. Well, accompany me to the Su family's house. Okay. In the morning, the sun had just risen. The weather was not so hot. In the spacious ward, Su Xiaoxue looked outside. Through the window, she could see a tree and the blue sky. It would be great if she could go out for a walk. She looked at the sky quietly like this. Unconsciously, her fingers moved slightly. No one saw it. She didn't even feel it. Dr. Wang, please come in. The smiling Mrs. Song actually had a job. She had a position in a department. She just took a leave to take care of her daughter's illness. After all, her family background was there. Ma'am. Chen Ying greeted her very respectfully. Hey, you have worked hard these days. It's my pleasure, Chen Ying hurriedly said. Let's go and see Ms. Su. Okay. Chen Ying waited outside. Wang Yao and Mrs. Song came into the ward. Wang Yao sat down. He was not in a hurry to check her pulse. Instead, he carefully looked at the new skin on the surface of her body. He gently touched it with his hands from time to time. It was very delicate. Then, he gradually pressed it with force. Song Ruiping stood aside. Seeing his movements, she was a little nervous. Not bad. She was relieved after Wang Yao stopped squeezing and said those two words. Use medicine. Okay. Song Ruiping immediately called the medical staff waiting outside. Apply the muscle revitalizing powder externally. Take the antidote orally. There is a change in the medicine? The attentive Song Ruiping immediately noticed the difference in the medicine. The two medicines were very mild. There was nothing to worry about. Then, he applied the blood deblicking powder internally. The medicine was more violent. Wang Yao diluted it several times with ancient spring water according to the dosage of the previous two medicines. He gave it to her. The three medicines had different effects. After taking the medicine, Wang Yao sat by the bed and observed Su Xiaoshue's reaction. Let me know if you feel anything unusual. Okay. Su Xiaoxue didn't feel any obvious difference between this treatment and the previous two treatments. Her skin was very comfortable. There was a kind of bone-penetrating cool feeling. Her insides were still hot, but this time the hot feeling seemed to have lessened a lot. There is no conflict. Wang Yao sat by the bed and checked her pulse from time to time. Initially, he was a little worried that the blood deblicking powder and the antidote would conflict with each other. But now it seemed that there was no conflict. Each had its own function. Mrs. Song, I'm going to give her a massage. Let me give it a try, Wang Yao said. He pressed with his hands just now to test the condition of her skin. He wanted to see if her skin could withstand the external pressure. Now, it seemed there was no problem. Chapter 268. Massage. Song Ruiping was surprised. Yes. Stimulate the body with external force, massage the acupoints, and dredge the meridians, Wang Yao said. He didn't use it before because he couldn't use it. Su Xiaoshue's skin had all festered and couldn't withstand external pressure. Now, the new skin and muscles had grown. Although they were still delicate, he could give it a try. Dr. Wang, go ahead, Song Ruiping hurriedly said after she understood. Okay. Wang Yao's movements were very gentle. He controlled his strength very well. Most of the time, he was just massaging. Even so, Su Xiaoshue's new skin began to turn red. Seeing this, his movements became even gentler. He only straightened out the limbs. Relatively speaking, the skin and muscles in these parts were growing better. First, he applied the medicine one by one. Then, he observed. After that, he gave her a massage. This process took a long time. Wang Yao arrived at Su Xiaoshue's house after 9 a.m. The treatment process was over 1 p.m. Okay, this treatment is over. Thank you, Dr. Wang, Song Ruiping said. Thank you. Su Xiaoshue's voice was still a little hoarse, but she seemed to be more confident. Take good care of yourself. Wang Yao gently patted her arm. Wang Yao and Song Ruiping left the ward. Mrs. Song, the medicine I have here is barely enough for one treatment. After it's used up, I'll leave Beijing, Wang Yao said. Okay, I've already arranged for someone to prepare the medicine for you. Is it the same as last time? The same is fine. Wang Yao was surprised. Last time, the wild herbs sent by Chen Buiyuan were mostly used by him in exchange for points in the medicine store. He then used them to buy licorice roots to decoct the decoction. Dr. Wang, if you need anything else, please don't hesitate to tell me. Okay. At Wang Yao's second aunt's house. That day, Zhang Xiufang and Li Xianghong didn't go to work. They had asked for leave because of their daughter's transfer to another school. Our Nana can enter all these schools? Unlike Zhang Xiufang, Li Xianghong had been in Beijing for nearly 30 years. She knew a lot more than Zhang Xiufang. The schools on the list that Wang Yao sent to them were all famous middle schools in Beijing. It would be difficult for them to pass the entrance exam, let alone transfer halfway. He said yes. Li Xianghong had asked this question more than once. Then let's go to this school. Li Xianghong chose one of them. Then came the most difficult thing, which was to talk to their daughter. What should I tell Nana? Just as they were worrying about this matter, a love and hate relationship was unfolding in a school somewhere in the capital. I'm sorry. I realized that the person I love is actually her. Let's break up. Why? Anger, questioning, crying. Then he turned around and ran away. Phew! The young man heaved a long sigh of relief. The memory of that night was still fresh in his mind, as if it was his worst nightmare. She was like a flower, but her heart was like a demon. A girl who was heartbroken felt like she had lost her soul. She felt like she had lost all hope and hope in life. Li Na was like this. At this moment, Li Na was in such a state. She was in the classroom and the teacher was lecturing, but her mind was filled with thoughts of the sweetness she once shared with that youth. When she returned home in the evening, her parents were waiting in the living room. Her attentive parents also noticed their daughter's abnormality. They swallowed the words they wanted to say and looked at each other. Let's wait a little longer. In the evening, two guests came to the small courtyard where Wang Yao was. One was a handsome young man, and the other was a middle-aged man with an extraordinary temperament. Brother Yao. Hello, Dr. Wang. Hello, have a seat inside. Wang Yao invited them into the living room. He called Guo Zhenghe in the afternoon. He was willing to give Mr. Sun's illness a try. After all, he still had a mission to complete. The 10 cases of intractable diseases could only be found by chance. If he missed this case, he didn't know when or where he would have to wait for the next one. After receiving Wang Yao's call, Guo Zhenghe informed Sun Jingrong. After the two met, they went directly to the small courtyard where Wang Yao was. Sun Jingrong was anxious. He was afraid that things would change again. Mr. Sun, where are you now? In Beijing, Sun Jingrong hurriedly said. His attitude was completely different from the last time he saw Wang Yao. Beijing? Wang Yao was silent for a moment. Tomorrow I'll ask Mr. Sun to take a look. Okay, Sun Jingrong hurriedly said. They came relatively late. After chatting for a while, it was time for dinner. Brother Yao, let's have dinner together tonight. I'll be the host, Guo Zhenghe invited with a smile. No, thank you. Wang Yao declined. Guo Zhenghe didn't continue to insist. He said goodbye to Sun Jingrong and left. This Dr. Wang doesn't seem to like to attend banquets? Yes, he doesn't like it very much. I, my sister, and Sister Sue have invited him more than once, but he refused very straightforwardly, Guo Zhenghe said with a smile. It's good that he agreed. Yes, thank you very much. We're family. Don't be so polite. What did Dr. Li say after seeing him? No, Sun Jingrong said. Then let's see what this Dr. Wang is capable of. Guo Zhenghe looked up at the sky. What a pity! What's a pity? Sun Jingrong paused. Nothing. I suddenly thought of something and felt inspired. Let's have dinner together. Okay, it's my treat. You choose the place. Sun Jingrong smiled. Okay, how about there? Guo Zhenghe pointed casually. Sun Jingrong looked in the direction he pointed. It was a barbecue stall by the roadside. The business was good. There were many people eating there. There was no lack of men with bare backs drinking draft beer. Here. Yes, what's wrong? Okay, I haven't eaten here in a long time. Let's have a taste. Let's have a taste. These two people, one of them was the son of an aristocratic family in Beijing, and the other was very rich. They chose a place at the barbecue stall by the roadside and ordered some skewers and beer. They chatted while eating. In the small courtyard, Wang Yao and Chen Ying were eating together. Mr. Sun seems to have a special relationship with Mr. Guo. Yes, speaking of which, I should call him uncle, Chen Ying said. Do you know Mr. Sun? Yes, I've known him for a long time, Wang Yao said with a smile. His son has a strange disease. He came to Beijing and asked Dr. Li and Dr. Chen to treat him. The result was not good. Chen Ying knew this news. Yes, I've seen his son before, Wang Yao said after taking a bite of the food. Yes, you've seen his son before? No, I just took a look. What disease? Chen Ying asked almost subconsciously. Wang Yao looked at her with a smile. He found that this woman seemed to have changed. If it had been the last time he was in Beijing, she would definitely not have asked this. Sorry, Chen Ying immediately realized that she seemed to have said something that she should not have said. It's nothing. There's no harm in telling you. It's the proof of extreme yang. Extreme yang? According to the theory of Chinese medicine, the human body pays attention to the balance of yin and yang. When yin and yang are in balance, the body will be healthy. In Mr. Sun's body, yang occupies 9 parts and yin is not enough. Therefore, it's called the proof of extreme yang. Chen Ying was stunned for a moment before she came to her senses. Actually, I'm also curious, Wang Yao said with a smile. What are you curious about? How did Mr. Sun survive all these years? The proof of extreme yang was like adding oil to fire. It consumed a lot of the body. Even a healthy person could not survive more than 3 months. Mr. Sun dragged on for several years. Who did it? What medicine did he use? What method did he use? These were all things that Wang Yao was interested in. Everything would be known the next day. That night there was a thunderstorm in the capital. The rain stopped, but the thunder rumbled until the middle of the night. Wang Yao went to bed very late. He was thinking about Sun Yunxing's illness. Extreme yang syndrome needed to be neutralized with extreme yin medicine or treatment methods to be effective. Extreme yin medicine. He actually had a spiritual herb in his possession right now. Frost grass. Hibernates in summer and grows in winter. It can clear away heat and remove yang toxins. It was worth a try. Between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., yang qi was the weakest and yin qi was the strongest. It was raining and windy. Wang Yao took a pot of ancient spring water and put in a leaf of frost grass. Chapter 269. The edge of the frost grass was as white as snow, and the middle of the leaf was blue and green. Once taken out, it emitted cold air. Wang Yao held it in his hand and felt cold, as if he was holding a popsicle. After the leaf entered the water, the ancient spring water became cold in an instant, but the frost grass was not in the water and showed no signs of melting. Wang Yao thought for a moment and heated it with the method of water bath. After a while, it melted. Then the temperature of the medicine dropped rapidly. This was the first time he used this licorice root and the first time he saw such a wonderful change. This was not the first time he used licorice root to boil water. Wang Yao drank a small amount of the medicine and tested it on himself. He only felt a chill go into his abdomen, as if he had drunk ice water. This cold feeling spread to his limbs and bones in a very short time. Phew! He let out a long breath. What a good leaf of frost grass! This was because he had an extraordinary constitution. If an ordinary person drank it, his body would have a very abnormal rejection reaction and diarrhea would be inevitable. After boiling the medicine, he packed up his things and went into the room to rest. In the room, Chen Ying heard the sound and woke up. Then she saw Wang Yao gesturing with the tools to boil the medicine. Boiling medicine in the middle of the night? She had never heard of this. The next morning, Sun Jingrong rushed to Wang Yao's room after breakfast. In fact, he had been waiting outside for nearly an hour. When he heard the noise inside, He estimated the time and dared to knock on the door to disturb. Dr. Wang. Mr. Sun, have you had breakfast? Yes, I have. Then I'll go. This time, Wang Yao mainly wanted to see Mr. Sun's condition. As for the treatment plan, it would be solved according to the actual situation. Okay. The car was parked outside. Wang Yao did not sit in the car. Instead, he sat in Chen Ying's car. Sun Jingrong led the way in front. The car did not go fast. In fact, with the traffic situation in Beijing, it was impossible to go fast at this time. Fortunately, the distance was not very far. After about half an hour, they stopped in a high-end residential area. Most of the villas in this district were single-family villas. Such a house in the capital would probably cost more than 100 million with the current price. This Mr. Sun was truly someone who didn't lack money. Sun Jingrong and a man with facial paralysis led the way and brought them to a 3-story villa. In a room on the second floor, Wang Yao saw young Master Sun again. He was tied to the bed with bandages. His body was skinny, his head was bald, and his eyes were red. He looked like an evil spirit. He was even more powerful than the last time they met. Ah! He growled like a wild beast in his throat. His breathing was hot and rapid. His eyes were wide open, but there was no spirit in them. Wang Yao sat on the edge of the bed and reached out to check her pulse. This vein. He was shocked. His meridians were close to being exhausted. Sure enough, it was more serious than he had imagined. More than half of the firewood had already been burned in the fire. Even if he took it out, what could he do? Withered trees come back to life. That was something that only existed in novels. Wang Yao sighed. What's the matter, Dr. Wang? Sun Jingrong hurriedly asked. Your son's illness is extremely difficult to treat. Please help, Dr. Wang, Sun Jingrong hurriedly said. I'm not 100% sure. It's more likely to worsen the condition and even take your son's life, Wang Yao said. He had to make things clear first. The worst possibility naturally had to be mentioned. Sun Jingrong was silent. It was not the first time he had heard this. One of the doctors who had said something similar was sunk into the sea because of it. No matter what the result is, I'm willing to accept it, Sun Jingrong said after pondering for a long time. His son's current situation was worse than death. He endured that kind of pain all day long and was almost unconscious. He couldn't even recognize his biological father. He had tried his best. In the past few years, he had gradually lost his confidence. After meeting Wang Yao, the fire that was about to be extinguished burned again. The words just now were like a blow to the head. Sigh. Well, I'll give it a try, Wang Yao said. As he spoke, he took out the bottle of medicine that he had prepared long ago from the bag he carried with him. Hiss, how should I feed him this medicine? In Sun Yunxing's current situation, he was like a crazy demon without self-awareness. Once he let go, he would hurt others and himself. Well, there was an idea. Wang Yao suddenly made a move without warning. Then, Sun Yunxing fainted on the bed. The middle-aged man behind Sun Jingrong shook his body when he saw this, but he stopped. Help him up. The man behind Sun Jingrong walked forward and helped Sun Yunxing up. Wang Yao poured a small cup of medicine and fed it to him. Then, he motioned for the middle-aged man to put him down and reached out to check his pulse. What effect would snow have on a raging fire? Unless it was a heavy snowfall, it was just a drop in the bucket. Wang Yao's medicine had such an effect after taking it. Was it useful? Yes. How was the effect? It was not obvious. As long as it was effective, it was fine. Wang Yao simply increased the dosage and continued to take the medicine. Then, the snow became heavier. The originally rapid breathing seemed to become a lot smoother in a very short time. Well, the man with facial paralysis exclaimed when he saw this. His eyes were full of incredulity. Wang Yao was still checking Sun Yunxing's pulse. Sun Yunxing's situation was undergoing a tremendous change. Of course, it was only temporary. The yang toxin in his body was suppressed. When he opened his eyes again, although his eyes were still red like blood, his mind seemed to have recovered. He turned his head slightly and looked around. "Dad, Uncle C." His voice was as hoarse as a broken window. Sun Jingrong's body shook when he heard this. This tough man, who had been in the business world for more than 20 years, almost burst into tears at this moment. He had been waiting for this call for several years. "Yes," he answered with a trembling voice. "I'm so tired." Sun Yunxing sighed. He felt as if he had a big dream, an extremely tiring dream. At this moment, he finally woke up from the dream. His whole body was relieved, and his spirit was relieved. "Try to move," Wang Yao said softly. Sun Yunxing tried to move his body and support himself to get up, but found that his body had no strength at all. It was as if his body was only a shell left. "What's going on?" As expected, Wang Yao said to himself. The yang toxin was temporarily suppressed by the frost grass. His body collapsed directly, and he could not move at all. "Dr. Wang." "This is a normal reaction," Wang Yao said. The reason why he had such a violent reaction before was that it was completely stimulated by the yang toxin in his body. He was basically unconscious. His body almost reacted unconsciously. "Dr. Wang's medical skills are really extraordinary," Sun Jingrong exclaimed. In the past year, he had invited a lot of famous doctors to treat his son's illness, but the effect was very poor. No one could keep his son awake for such a long time like Wang Yao. "You flatter me. This is only temporary," Wang Yao said truthfully. The potion made from frost grass only played a temporary role in suppressing the yang toxin. It could not even achieve the effect of treating the symptoms. It was unknown how long the potion could last. Temporarily is fine." Sun Jingrong sighed. Wang Yao did not continue to speak. Instead, he lowered his head to check Sun Yunxing's pulse and track the changes in his body. Wang Yao exclaimed. "Strange and strange." He found another unique aura in Sun Yunxing's body. Yin Qi. Yin referred to one of the two kinds of yin and yang qi in the human body. When yin and yang were in balance, the human body would not have problems. "How is this possible?" Wang Yao exclaimed. It was like finding a piece of ice that had not melted in a raging fire. This was probably the reason why Sun Yunxing could live until now. But where did this qi come from? Wang Yao turned to look at Sun Jingrong. He was afraid that only Mr. Sun could tell him the answer. "This qi can be used. To be able to survive under such circumstances, it must be extremely extraordinary. I used a special medicine to temporarily suppress the yang toxin in his body, but I am not sure how long it can last. As for how to cure it, I need to go back and think about it." Chapter 270. "Okay, please let me know if you need anything," Sun Jingrong hurriedly said. "Actually, I do have something to ask you, Mr. Sun," Wang Yao said. "Just say it," Sun Jingrong said. "I want to know what kind of treatment your son received during this period of time. How can he survive such a severe illness until now?" Wang Yao stared at Sun Jingrong to see his reaction when he asked the question. "Well," Sun Jingrong was stunned when he heard the question. Sure enough, there was a way. Sun Jingrong's heart was in a fierce struggle. The way he treated his son's illness, or rather, the way he extended his son's life, was very unique and even a little evil. He was considering whether it would make Dr. Wang feel disgusted if he said it out loud. The trouble it would bring to him was secondary. "Mr. Sun, please think about it again. I just found something special in your son's body. It may be used to treat his illness, but I can't be sure where it comes from," Wang Yao said. "I'll tell you." Sun Jingrong pondered for a while and decided to tell Wang Yao about it. "Shall we talk in another place?" "Okay. How, you stay here and look after Yunxing?" "Yes." The expressionless man's answer was very concise. Sun Jingrong and Wang Yao went to the living room outside. Immediately, someone prepared tea for them. After thinking for a moment, Sun Jingrong said, "Since Yunxing got this strange disease, I have thought of a lot of ways. I also took him to see a lot of famous doctors, domestic and foreign." Okay. Wang Yao also knew very well that with Mr. Sun's ability, most of the famous doctors in the country could be hired. As for foreign countries, as long as there was money, most of the things could be done naturally. But his situation did not get better. On the contrary, it got worse and worse. I was also very anxious. Understandable. Then, through some channels, I met a few doctors with special methods. They provided several folk prescriptions. Folk prescriptions? Wang Yao was no stranger to this word. It was not the first time he heard it from the mouth of a patient. In fact, a considerable number of people believed that folk prescriptions could cure serious diseases. However, the use of folk prescriptions must be cautious. Think about it. If a disease that even the famous hospitals in the country could not treat could be solved with only a few folk prescriptions, then what was the use of hospitals? One of them is to use the medicine of a child who has just died. Sun Jingrong's tone became a little hesitant. He was observing Wang Yao's expression when he spoke. Hearing this, Wang Yao's eyebrows furrowed. Sun Jingrong's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, Dr. Wang is he? Sun. When Sun Jingrong heard this, he didn't know if he should continue. Please continue, Wang Yao said as he rubbed his forehead. The doctor said that he was using the resentment to offset the yang toxins in Yunxing's body and nourish his body at the same time. Sun Jingrong took a sip of water and continued. While Sun Jingrong was talking, Wang Yao was also listening and thinking. He had never come into contact with this kind of thing because it was already in the category of metaphysics. In the medical world, there was indeed the term Xian doctor, but it was very rare now. Even if there were, most of them were lies. The aura was suppressed in Yunxing's abdomen. Why was it in that position? It is, isn't it? There is another folk prescription. Sun Jingrong hesitated for a moment before continuing. There is more? Wang Yao was stunned. Yes. Since he had said one, he might as well finish it. There is a Miao doctor who said that he can use a woman's qi of primordial yin to offset part of the yang poison. Primordial yin. Wang Yao was shocked when he heard it. Of course, he knew about this. There was yin and yang in the human body. They promoted and merged with each other. Yin and yang were balanced, and the meridians were unobstructed. In metaphysics, there was also the saying of male yang and female yin, male qian and female kuan. How do you borrow it? By sleeping with a woman. Is that really the case? When Sun Jingrong said primordial yin, Wang Yao had vaguely guessed it. For the sake of his son, how many women had Mr. Sun coerced and tempted over the years? How many children who should have stayed in the dark didn't? In order to save one person, he destroyed thousands of people. Thinking of this, Wang Yao's face became very ugly. Sun Jingrong also saw that Dr. Wang in front of him was angry. He didn't want to use these methods. Sigh. Wang Yao sighed. In the living room, there was silence and depression. Wang Yao didn't want to treat this disease. If he didn't treat it, Mr. Sun would probably use the same method to extend his son's life. With such a strange disease, it was better to die than to live. Have you taken him to the extreme north? Wang Yao was silent for a long time before asking. Yes, Sun Jingrong hurriedly replied. I have taken him to the northernmost part of the country and Russia. At first, I could use the external cold to suppress the strange disease in his body, but the effect became worse later. Well, from today on, stop using those so-called folk remedies. Wang Yao's tone was very calm. Yes, Sun Jingrong said. There is still some medicine left. If he is sick again, drink it all at once when it is serious and tell me at the same time. The treatment just now had consumed nearly half of the potion. So, he decided to keep the rest of the potion. Yes. I don't want this medicine to appear in other places. After finishing this sentence, Wang Yao got up and left. He didn't want to see Sun Yunxing for the time being. Mr. Wang, please listen to me. These things were done by me. It has nothing to do with Yunxing, Sun Jingrong said as he sent Wang Yao out. I will try my best to treat his illness, Wang Yao said. Thank you. Chen Ying was waiting outside. When she saw Wang Yao come out, she immediately drove the car over. Sun Jingrong took the initiative to open the door for him, and stood at the door to watch the car drive away. This man is a master. Without knowing when, the expressionless man came behind Sun Jingrong and said in a mechanical voice, Well, how is Yunxing? His condition is good. You might as well call Dr. Li. Oh! Didn't Mr. Guo say that the two of them are very interested in Dr. Wang's medicine? I will ask him to come, but I won't show him the medicine for the time being, Sun Jingrong said after thinking for a moment. Yes. Sitting in the car, Wang Yao looked out of the window. His expression was a bit serious. The conversation with Sun Jingrong just now had a big impact on him. The method that the wealthy Mr. Sun used to save his son was no longer a folk prescription, but an evil prescription. Since he stepped into the medical profession, this was the worst treatment he had heard with his own ears. His heart was heavy, but he was also helpless. This was the way of the world. He could save 1, 10, or even hundreds of people, but he could not change the way of the world and people's hearts. He also knew that there must be something darker than this. He just had not come into contact with it yet. Seeing that Wang Yao seemed to have something on his mind, Chen Ying did not ask much. After returning to the small courtyard, Wang Yao went into the small room and carefully recorded the day's visit records. To solve this strange disease, he needed Lingfang and miraculous medicine. The yang toxin was unusually strong. The solution was either to dissolve it, expel it, or neutralize it. The first thing Wang Yao considered now was the fusion of yin and yang. Licorice root. A lot of information about licorice roots appeared in his mind. In the catalogue of licorice roots, there were 108 types of licorice roots between heaven and earth. They were divided into 3 grades, high, medium, and low. Each had its own unique magical effect. With his current condition, he had fully understood their magical effects just by looking at and using a dozen types of licorice root. Among the licorice roots, there were some that could cure the yang toxin. For example, among the high-grade licorice roots, there was the yellow spring grass. Its medicinal properties were yin, and it could eliminate all yang toxins and fire toxins. However, such licorice roots required a frightening amount of exchange points. It was definitely not something that Wang Yao could afford. For the time being, he could only use the frost grass to suppress and dissolve part of the yang toxin. Then, he could use herbs with yin properties to nourish the body. This was to prevent the body from being unable to withstand the strong medicinal properties. As he thought and recorded, Wang Yao stayed in the room for a few hours. He did not even have time to eat lunch. Chen Ying finished cooking and waited for almost an hour. Then, she went to Wang Yao's room and knocked on the door. Sir, lunch is ready. Would you like to eat first? Okay. Only then did Wang Yao stop. In the villa in Beijing, where Sun Jingrong lived, a slightly fat but hale and hearty old man was diagnosing Sun Yunxing, who was still conscious. After a while, the old man exclaimed, "Wow, that's amazing!" He knew about young Master Sun's illness. He had just diagnosed it a few days ago. The illness was as fierce as fire and couldn't be suppressed. He had secretly determined it to be a terminal illness, but he didn't expect that when he saw him today, this terrible illness was actually temporarily suppressed and no longer flared up. As a doctor, he could not help but feel ashamed. He had been called the Saint of Apricot Woods, and had rich medical experience for decades. In terms of treatment, he could not compare with a young man in his 20s. Even if Sun Yunxing started to study medicine in his mother's womb, he had only studied medicine for over 20 years. How could he have such ability? How did he treat Sun Yunxing? Dr. Li asked curiously. Medicine. He fed Yunxing a medicine. Medicine? What medicine? Dr. Li hurriedly asked. Sorry, Dr. Li, I really don't know. Sun Jingrong shook his head. In fact, he had the medicine now. There was still half a bottle left. After Wang Yao left, he was in a hurry to go upstairs to see his son. He still remembered the shocked expression on his right-hand man's face when Wang Yao left. His right-hand man's face would change color even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. Chapter 271. The reason was because of the half-filled bottle of medicine. He took the bottle and felt a bone-piercing coldness, as if he was holding a piece of ice. After opening the bottle, a gust of cold air rushed out. At that moment, Sun Jingrong felt that the temperature around him seemed to have dropped. He looked into the bottle and saw a clear light green liquid. What medicine is this? He asked in shock. I've never seen it before. The man with facial paralysis was equally shocked. However, he could not give the medicine to Old Li. If he angered Dr. Wang, all his previous efforts would be in vain. He finally saw a glimmer of hope. He could not afford to lose it. Yes, Old Li replied, but the disappointment on his face was obvious. He had seen the medicine used by the young doctor and even tried to decipher it. However, he did not know the most important ingredient. Forget it. So what if he had seen it? So what if he had tasted it? He just did not know. Old Li, what about Yunxing's illness? It's temporarily suppressed by the medicine. It also melted a considerable amount of the heat toxins, Old Li said. Is there a possibility of recovery if he continues to take the medicine? It's very difficult, Old Li said. His body is now like a tree that has been roasted by fire. The veins, organs, and even bones in his body have all been corroded by this heat poison. A full recovery is just an extravagant hope. After Elder Li said this, he felt that it was a little inappropriate. Of course, Dr. Wang might be able to create a miracle. He had seen the miracle with his own eyes. He had forcefully saved someone who was about to die. Old Li did not stay long at Sun Jingrong's place. He left after saying goodbye. Sun Jingrong sent someone to send him back. Lord Rong, why don't you tell him? Maybe he can analyze the ingredients of the medicine? The man with facial paralysis asked. How, you said it just now. Maybe, it's not certain. If he can't and Dr. Wang knows about it, what should we do? Sun Jingrong asked. One was an old man who was up to his neck in the dust. The other was a young man with extraordinary abilities like the rising sun. Which was more important? Sun Jingrong was an experienced and shrewd person. How could he not know? Sigh. He suddenly sighed. Lord Rong? It's fine. I suddenly thought of something and felt a little emotional. It was hot and humid in the afternoon. After lunch, Wang Yao locked himself in his room, thinking about Sun Yunxing's illness. He wouldn't stay in the capital for long, and neither would Sun Jingrong. After returning to Lianshan County and Nanshan, he could do more. Things were bound to happen in the capital. Sun Jingrong met another person in the afternoon, Guojinghe. Uncle Sun, has Yunxing been treated by Dr. Wang? Yes, I have. How is it? It has been suppressed for the time being. Yunxing's consciousness has also recovered a little, Sun Jingrong said. So magical? Yes, his medical skills are miraculous. That's good, Guojinghe said. Dr. Wang is a friend worth making and treating with respect, said Wang Yao. Yes, Sun Jingrong said. Under certain circumstances, knowing a good doctor meant having an additional guarantee for one's health. If one were to exaggerate, it could even be understood as having an extra life. I wonder what Dr. Wang likes and dislikes. Sun Jingrong asked with a smile. Well, as far as I know, he doesn't like money or beauty. He has the demeanor of an ancient hermit. I heard from my sister that he just likes to drink tea. By the way, I think he likes things related to Chinese medicine, Guojing has said. Last time, he had given Wang Yao an ancient medical book. Judging from Wang Yao's expression when he took it, he seemed to like it very much. Tea, Chinese medicine. Sun Jingrong made a mental note. Sure enough, Wang Yao was a little different. However, it was easy as long as he had preferences. The humid weather lasted for most of the day. That night, it started to rain. The rain was not heavy and did not last for long. The next morning, the weather was even more humid because the rain had not stopped. There was no wind at all. In the morning, Wang Yao went to Su Xiaoshue's house again. It was very comfortable in Su Xiaoshue's ward. Dr. Wang, Xiaoxue has been vomiting and having diarrhea since yesterday afternoon. Her excrement has a foul smell. What's going on? Song Ruiping asked as soon as she saw him. I'll take a look at the situation first. Wang Yao checked her again. The recovery of her body was relatively good. After taking the blood deblocking powder, some of the blocked meridians in the body began to gradually unblock. After these meridians were unblocked, the effect of the antidote could be better played. The toxins lurking in the organs, bones, and other organs could be cleaned out. The problem that Song Ruiping had just mentioned was explained. This was the body's detoxification reaction. This is a good thing. It will happen again in the future. Oh, that's good. In fact, Dr. Chen was also present yesterday morning. His answer at that time was the same as Wang Yao's explanation. However, Song Ruiping was still a little worried, so she asked again. After hearing Wang Yao's explanation, she was completely relieved. Now, she had a kind of almost blind trust in Wang Yao. After the examination, Wang Yao gave her 2 kinds of medicine. At the same time, he followed and observed her situation. He also pushed her qi and blood to stimulate and unblock her meridians with external force. The treatment took the whole morning. The medicine that I prescribed to consolidate the corporeity should be taken on time. Keep taking the medicine. You can ask the medical staff to give Miss Su an appropriate massage. This will also help her recover. Dr. Chen's acupuncture treatment can also continue to be used. It will also promote her recovery. Okay, Song Ruiping replied. After the treatment, Wang Yao returned to the small courtyard. He planned to leave Jing the day after tomorrow. Before leaving, he planned to deal with the 2 medicines and stay. The efficacy of the blood deblocking powder was a little strong, so it had to be diluted. However, the antidote did not need to be dealt with. During lunch, Wang Yao said to Chen Ying, "Why don't you go and see your brother tomorrow?" "Okay." Chen Ying was stunned for a moment. Then, she smiled. In the afternoon, Guosairu also came to the small courtyard. This was the first time she came here since her grandfather passed away. She was obviously thinner and more haggard. "Your grandfather has passed away. You have to take care of your health," Wang Yao advised. "Okay," Guosairu replied softly. Chen Ying poured a cup of tea for her. "Dr. Wang, when are you going to leave Jing?" "The day after tomorrow." "I'll send you off then." "Don't bother," Wang Yao said with a smile. "I'm also going to go out for a walk to relax." "Okay." "Miss Gua, where are you going?" "Europe, North America. I don't have a clear destination. I'll just go wherever I go." Guosairu tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The 2 sat in the small courtyard and chatted for a while. "Are you free tonight?" Before leaving, Guosairu sent out an invitation again. "Yes." The 2 looked at each other and smiled. "Chen Ying, do you want to come too?" "No, you guys go ahead. I have something to do." The restaurant Guosairu chose was in an old courtyard house. There was no sign. There were a few tables in the courtyard. When they arrived, there was already a table of people waiting there. There were 3 to 5 young people. They looked extraordinary. "Sister Sairu, One of the young people saw Guosairu and stood up to greet her. Hey, Xiao Gang is here too. I have an appointment with a few friends. It's not easy to make an appointment with Uncle Lu. I've been waiting for a few days, the young man said. And this is? My friend. Wang Yao greeted the young man and went to another table with Guosairu. After the two of them sat down, a middle-aged woman came to pour water. Aunt May. Hey, Sairu is here. The woman chatted with Guosairu for a while and then left with a smile. This is private home cuisine. Private home cuisine. Wang Yao had heard of this before. Yes, this chef's ancestor was an imperial chef in the palace. His specialty is also palace cuisine. Reservations are made a week in advance. Only 3 tables are open a day. Oh, I have to try it later, Wang Yao said with a smile. There was no menu. There was no need to order. They could eat whatever the chef made. It was the first time Wang Yao had encountered such a restaurant. Not to mention the dishes, this ancient courtyard house was not something that anyone could get their hands on. The dishes were not served very quickly. The appearance of the dishes was not very exquisite. Perhaps it was because Wang Yao's expectations were too high. What would you like to drink? I don't drink. Forget it. Let's eat. Try it. Wang Yao picked up a mouthful of food and put it into his mouth. Well, it's delicious. He nodded. Things like retaining the taste of vegetables, the aroma of meat, and the balance of softness and hardness were just 2 simple words. Delicious. A diner, not a gourmet. It was late at night. The small courtyard was lit with lanterns. I don't know what special method is used in this courtyard. There are no mosquitoes and flies, Guosairu said. In summer, mosquitoes and flies were inevitable in an open environment. It was very annoying, especially when it was time to eat. Look at the plants by the wall. Wang Yao pointed at the neat row of plants in the corner. That one is called mosquito repellent. It can emit a unique smell that can drive away mosquitoes. That one. Wang Yao pointed at the plants and introduced them to Guosairu one by one. In fact, when he entered the campus, he smelled something special. Then, he found the plants with special effects by the walls. These plants have such effects. When I have time, I'll get 2 pots and put them at home, Guosairu said with a smile. Some can, some can't. The small courtyard was open. The smell emitted by the plants would spread. If it was in a room, the air circulation was relatively poor. Some plants emitted a pungent smell. Chapter 272. The meal consisted of 6 hot dishes, 2 cold dishes, and a bowl of soup. It was a bit too much for 2 people to eat 9 dishes. They finished half of the food and wanted to take away the rest. There are rules here. If you can't finish the food, take it away and deal with it yourself, Guosairu said with a smile. That's a good rule. Wang Yao smiled and helped her to take away the food. Do you want to take some home too? Sure. Guosairu drove Wang Yao back to the small courtyard. She stayed for a while and then left. The next morning, Wang Yao and Chen Ying went to the mental rehabilitation center where her brother was. This time, when they first met, his condition was normal. Whether it was his speech, behavior, or logical thinking, he was not like ordinary people. After chatting for less than 5 minutes, the look in his eyes suddenly changed. It's here. Wang Yao grabbed his hand and checked his pulse. Who are you? Where is this place? His illness began to act up. Let go. He shouted and used all his strength. Blue veins appeared on his face, but he could not break free from Wang Yao's 3 fingers. 200 years of right and wrong, victory and defeat are gone in a blink of an eye. There is no famous sword in Jianghu. Strange, really strange. Wang Yao let go of his hand. He couldn't figure out the condition of Chen Ying's younger brother for a while. The treatment of mental illness was quite difficult. It had been so since ancient times. He still did not have a proper way to treat this illness. Visiting hours were soon over. They had to leave. He was injured when he was young. Was it in his head? Yes, but that was when he was 6 years old. He only suffered from this strange illness a few years ago. Then, have you received any severe stimulation? As far as I know, no. Well, don't be too anxious. Let me think about it. Okay. In fact, she was already very grateful that Wang Yao took the initiative to treat her brother. She also knew that this kind of illness was difficult to treat. In the afternoon, Wang Yao went to his second aunt's house again. His cousin had already transferred to a better school, but Zhang Xiufang was still worried about her daughter. As a mother, her heart ached for her when she saw her daughter's depressed look. Second aunt, this is a process. You don't have to worry too much. Yes. I'm going back to Lianshan tomorrow. Is there anything else you need me to do? No, thank you, Yao, Zhang Xiufang said. This time, her daughter's matter was all thanks to his help. In addition to the previous time when she changed her job, he had already helped her family twice since he came to Beijing. We're family. It's only right. Would you like to have dinner here? No, I still have some things to prepare. I'll leave tomorrow and won't come back again. Okay, be careful on the road. I'll send my regards to your parents later. AI. After that, Wang Yao greeted Sun Jingrong, and Sun Jingrong hurriedly asked about the treatment in the future. You can find me in Lianshan County, Wang Yao said. That morning, the weather was gloomy and stuffy. He went to Su Xiaoshua's place in the morning and gave her a treatment: detoxification, unblocking meridians, relaxing tendons and promoting blood circulation. After the treatment, Wang Yao smiled at Su Xiaoshua, who was lying on the hospital bed, and said, "Have a good rest." "Thank you, Dr. Wang." Her voice was not as hoarse as before, and her eyes were still clear. Hearing that Wang Yao was going to leave Beijing, Su Xiaoshua said softly, "Take care, sir." "Okay, have a good rest." At this moment, Wang Yao suddenly wanted to see what this strong woman would look like when she recovered. "We'll work hard together." "Okay." Su Xiaoshua's mouth curved up slightly. She was supposed to be smiling. "Mrs. Song, can I have a word with you?" Song Ruiping hurriedly asked Wang Yao to go to the side. "Take the medicine I left you. You'll be fine after taking it." Wang Yao only said one sentence. However, who was Mrs. Song? Of course, she understood the meaning of Wang Yao's words. "Of course," she immediately replied. She walked Wang Yao to the car until he left. Then, she turned around and went back into the house. After returning to the house, she put away the 2 decoctions left by Wang Yao. In the last 2 treatments, she had let Dr. Chen see the decoctions left by Wang Yao. She took out a small part of them and sent it for testing. She tried to analyze the active ingredients in the decoctions with advanced equipment, but the results were not ideal. The decoctions were not only effective for her daughter's disease, but also for the comprehensive efficacy of the decoctions. Wang Yao's flight was after 2 p.m. Chen Ying had already prepared lunch. After lunch, she drove him to the airport. When they arrived at the airport, they were surprised to find that Guosairu and Sun Jingrong were there to see Wang Yao off. "You don't have to make it so grand." "It's my pleasure," Sun Jingrong said. "Thank you, Chen Ying, for your thoughtful care and kindness." "Thank you," Wang Yao said with a smile. "You're welcome," Chen Ying hurriedly said. "You're welcome to visit Beijing at any time." "Dr. Wang, you're also welcome to visit Dao," Sun Jingrong said with a smile. "Okay." After the registration prompt sounded, Wang Yao said goodbye to them one by one and boarded the plane. Not long after, the plane took off and rushed into the sky. The Su family booked a first-class cabin for him. Through the window, he could see the clouds outside. Beijing was a place of turbulence and trouble. "I don't know when I'll come again." Song Ruiping had asked Wang Yao this question before he left the Su family. However, Wang Yao didn't give her a clear answer. With his current ability, if he came to Beijing again, he would just continue to use the blood-deblicking powder and the antidote to detoxify her and dredge her channels and collaterals. It would take at least a few more times to see obvious result. In other words, he would have to come to Beijing several times within a few months. Each time, he would have to stay for at least a week. It was as if there was an invisible rope binding him. Therefore, he did not make any related promises. He only left a sentence. It depends. In the afternoon, when it was almost evening, the plane landed at Haik Airport. When Wang Yao walked out of the airport, he found Chen Buiyuan waiting outside. "Hello, Dr. Wang." "Hello, when did you arrive?" "I just arrived. The car is waiting outside. This way, please." Chen Buiyuan was more respectful than before. "Thank you." Chen Buiyuan had already prepared the car. After picking up Wang Yao, they sped all the way. "Dr. Wang, I've already ordered dinner in Haik. What do you think?" "No, let's go home." "Okay." After a little more than an hour, the car arrived at the mountain village. It was already dark. Wang Yao's parents were at home. Chen Buiyuan took out a lot of things from the trunk of the car. There were local specialties from Beijing, some expensive tonics, and some other things. "What are these?" These are a little gift from Mrs. Song. I hope you can accept it." He brought them to the door. Wang Yao smiled helplessly. "Don't do it again." "I'm serious," he said seriously. "Okay." Chen Buiyuan hurriedly nodded. Zhang Xiaoying and Wang Fenghua were slightly surprised when they saw Chen Buiyuan and the driver carrying all kinds of things into the house. "Have a seat." "No, thank you. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to let me know. I've already prepared the herbs you want. Do you think it's appropriate to send them over tomorrow?" Chen Buiyuan asked tentatively. "Sure. Okay, I'll send them to you tomorrow morning." After saying hello to Wang Yao's parents, Chen Buiyuan and the driver left. "These two are too courteous. Why did you buy so many things from Beijing? They're quite expensive, aren't they?" Zhang Xiaoying asked. Although she didn't recognize a lot of the gifts, she knew they were not cheap just by looking at the beautiful packaging. "Okay," Wang Yao replied. He didn't tell his parents where the gifts came from. He didn't want his parents to think too much. "Have you eaten?" "No." "Wait a minute. I'll cook for you." "Okay." "A bowl of hot noodles and 2 pheasant eggs." "Yes, Mom, your cooking is still the best. There's more in the pot." "Dad, you can rest at home tonight. I'll go up the hill," Wang Yao said to his father. "Okay. How's the matter in Beijing?" "Very well. My aunt's family is also quite good." Wang Yao didn't tell his family about his cousin's matter. He didn't want his mother to think too much. Chapter 273. After dinner, Wang Yao chatted with his parents for a while and gave them a massage to relax their muscles and bones. At 9:30 p.m., Wang Yao went out and went up Nanshan Hill. Compared to the bustling Jing city, the small mountain village was too quiet. At 9:30 p.m., except for the street lights that were still on, there were not many people in the village outside to enjoy the cool air. In Jing City, at this time, the exciting nightlife had just begun. After leaving the mountain village and going up the mountain, it was even quieter. The mountain was dark, and the mountain stood there quietly. There was no wind in the mountain, but it was much cooler than Jing City. When Wang Yao walked down the mountain, San Xian, who had already heard the movement, ran down the mountain. It ran around Wang Yao and wagged its tail happily. "San Xian, is there anything on the mountain?" "Woof." The dog actually shook its head mysteriously. "I think you have gained weight again." Wang Yao squatted down and stroked the dog with a smile. "Let's go." A man and a dog went up the mountain. On Nanshan Hill, the atmosphere changed. The mountain breeze blew on the body, which was very comfortable. As soon as he entered the spirit-gathering battle array, he felt even more comfortable. Quack! The goshawk on the treetop flapped its wings to greet Wang Yao. "Hello, Disya." In the night, Wang Yao walked around the herbal field. He first went to check the dozen licorice roots, which were growing well. He then looked at the ordinary herbs, which were growing better. He was relieved. It's still the best here. Wang Yao sighed. On Nanshan Hill, a lamp lit up in the night. From afar, it seemed to be a little dim, like a soybean. It was not until late at night that it went out. In the morning, on the huge rock on the top of Nanshan Hill, there was a figure. It was Wang Yao, who was practicing boxing. At this time, all the main meridians in his body were opened. As the saying goes, when there is water in the river, there is water in the small river. Since the main meridians had been opened, the small meridians were naturally opened. At this moment, his inner breath was flowing through his entire body. He could activate it with just a thought, and it had great power. Based on the mysteries of natural classics, he had just started on the path of cultivation, and there was still a long way to go. The fist technique was just a support. The profound meaning in the scripture was the true Tao. At around 9 o'clock in the morning, Chen Buiyuan delivered the herbs to Wang Yao's house. There were more herbs than last time. Dr. Wang, is there anything else you need? No, thank you. Chen Buiyuan stayed in his house for a short while and then left. He wanted to improve their relationship. After seeing Chen Buiyuan off, Wang Yao carried 2 boxes of medicinal materials and prepared to go up the mountain. After a few steps, he saw Wang Fengxiang walking on the street. His condition seemed to be much better than the last time he saw him. Uncle, are you feeling better? Yao is back. I feel much better. Shall I show you again? Okay. Wang Fengxiang smiled and invited Wang Yao into his house. Wang Fengxiang walked normally, but it could still be seen that his right leg was not strong enough. His right hand was much weaker. He could move his elbow and fingers, but they were not flexible enough. In fact, it was already very good that he could recover to this state in less than 20 days. Well, it's not a big problem. You just need to do some restorative exercises, Wang Yao said after checking his pulse. The thrombosis in the meridians had been completely removed, but it did not mean that the disease would be cured immediately. It still needed a process. Where is Auntie? She went up the mountain. Well, I'll give you a massage first. Let me know when she comes back. I'll teach her some massage methods to help you recover. Okay. Wang Fengxiang smiled. Then, Wang Yao began to massage the blood flow, mainly on the arms, shoulders, and torso. After about half an hour, the process was finished. How do you feel? Wang Fengxiang asked. Comfortable. My whole body is a lot lighter, especially my arms. They don't feel so heavy when I lift them, Wang Fengxiang said. After more than half an hour of massage, he really felt a very obvious effect. Yao, your medical skills are amazing, Wang Yao said. You flatter me. It's good that it's effective. Thank you so much, Yao. Wang Fengxiang was very sincere. They were just neighbors in the front and back rooms of the same village. Wang Yao had helped him so much. It was a big favor. You're welcome. Have a rest. I'm going up the mountain. Hey, do you want to come home for lunch? No need. Wang Yao smiled and waved his hand. He then carried 2 boxes of herbs to Nanshan Hill. After going up the mountain, he sorted the herbs and began to exchange them through the system. After a while, the 2 boxes of herbs were cleaned. In the afternoon, he calmed down and carefully went through the trip to Beijing, especially Su Xiaoshue's condition and the changes during the treatment process. In the evening, he received a call from Tian Yuantu, who asked if he was still in Beijing. Professor Lu's design plan had been completed and wanted to show it to him. After hearing that he had returned home, the 2 of them made an appointment to meet. After returning home for dinner, Wang Fengxiang and his wife in the front room came to visit. Look at you. Why do you have to bring something every time you come here? Zhang Xiuying was not very happy. Uncle, Auntie, come in and have a seat. Wang Yao made tea for them. After chatting for a while, Wang Yao began to teach her a simple massage method. He only mentioned the knowledge of acupoints and meridians in passing. It would be counterproductive if he talked too much about these things. After all, she did not have any basic knowledge in this area. Wang Yao only told her the massage method and the specific position. After he demonstrated a few times, he let Wang Fengxiang's wife do it. He corrected some of the mistakes. After a few times, she basically knew how to do it. Well, almost. If you forget, you can ask me again. Anyway, it's not far away. Hey, how often do you do it? There is no fixed number. 3 to 4 times a day is enough. It mainly depends on your own exercise. This is just an auxiliary role. Oh, thank you, Yao, said Wang Yao. You are welcome. After seeing the couple off, Zhang Xiuying suddenly said, Son, can you teach me and your dad? What? The massage method just now. When you are not at home, we can also relax our muscles and bones. No problem. That night, Wang Yao taught twice. It was already past 10 p.m. when he left home to go up the hill to the geese. On the way up the hill, he suddenly had an idea. Perhaps the art of massage could be properly promoted. He could start from the people around him. Think about it carefully. The next morning, Tian Yuantu and his wife went up Nanshan Hill. Tian Yuantu's complexion was obviously much better than the last time Wang Yao saw him. Did the trip to Beijing go well? Pretty good. Come in and have a seat. Phew, it's so comfortable to be on your hill, Tian Yuantu exclaimed. He did not know why, after going up Nanshan Hill, he felt that his breathing was smoother and his spirit was more refreshed. His body suddenly became a lot lighter. It was amazing. Come here often, Wang Yao said with a smile. He made a pot of tea and sat down to diagnose Tian Yuantu. Pretty good. Continue to take the medicine. Well, I also feel that since taking the medicine you prescribed, my whole body has become a lot lighter. I also feel that I have gained weight. By the way, I forgot about the business. This is the plan designed by Professor Liu. Take a look. What do you think? Do you still need to modify it? Tian Yuantu took out a design plan from his carry-on bag. It was the design plan for the medical center that Wang Yao was going to build. The first was a color rendering. It had white walls and black tiles. It was different from the buildings in the north. It had the architectural style of the Anhui style. It looked quite good. After that, it was the architectural drawings and the division of the rooms. Professor Liu looked for a lot of information and referred to the design plans of some ancient medical centers, Tian Yuantu said. Wang Yao looked at it more carefully. After all, once the building was built, it would be troublesome to modify it. Pretty good, Wang Yao said finally. I have another plan. It was made by our company's designer. You can take a look. Don't worry. It's easy to build these few rooms, Tian Yuantu said. Such a construction project was not even a project in the eyes of his company. Of course, because it was Wang Yao, he put the importance of this case at the highest level. Chapter 274. Okay, how much is the design fee? What design fee? Tian Yuantu asked. Why would I ask you for money for such a small thing? Okay, let's meet up with Ming Bao and the others some other day. It's my treat. Okay. The couple stayed on the hill for more than an hour and then left. Before they left Nanshan Hill, the comfortable feeling immediately disappeared. They only felt that the air was a lot hotter. It was just a hill and the distance was less than 10 meters. However, it was as if they were under two different skies. Honey, how do you think he did it? Maybe it has something to do with those plants. Su Jiahui asked. It was not the first time he was surprised and puzzled. He is a young man who always surprises people. This was the comment Tian Yuantu made about Wang Yao when he talked to his wife a few months ago. Now, it seemed that this comment was very correct. The couple had not yet arrived in Lianshan County. In the car, Tian Yuantu's phone rang. He was a little surprised when he saw the caller. Hello, Director Sunday, it was Sun Jingrong who called. Yuantu, what are you busy with? Sun Jingrong's tone on the other end of the phone was unusually gentle and friendly. This made Wang Yao think he had misheard. He knew very well how domineering Director Sun, who was awe-inspiring in Dao City, was. He was tough and always kept his word. It was not the first time they had met, but it was the first time he had heard such a tone. Drive, I'll get it to you later. I'll call you back later. After hanging up the phone, Tian Yuantu felt very confused. Why did Director Sun suddenly call him? What was the matter? Who was it? Su Jiahui asked. Sun Jingrong. Him? Why did he call you? I don't know. The two of them were very puzzled, and no matter how they thought about it, they probably wouldn't associate this matter with Wang Yao. In fact, Sun Jingrong was still in Beijing at the moment. He had been thinking about Wang Yao for the past few days. Although he knew that Dr. Wang was in Lianshan, Lianshan County was neither big nor small. Through indirect inquiries, he knew that Dr. Wang lived like a hermit and didn't want to be disturbed by strangers. He thought hard for a long time and suddenly remembered that his good friend Tian Yuantu had been to Dao City. Therefore, he immediately called him. Wang Yao? Tian Tuyuan, who had returned Sun Jingrong's call, immediately understood the purpose of the call when he heard the name. He wanted to ask Wang Yao to treat his son. Yes, I know him. Where does he live? I'll ask for you. Okay. Tian Yuantu didn't immediately tell Sun Jingrong where Wang Yao lived. After hanging up the phone, he immediately called Wang Yao and told him about the matter. Don't tell him for the time being, Wang Yao said after thinking for a moment. This matter has put you in a difficult position. It's okay. Tian Yuantu listened and smiled. To Tian Yuantu's surprise, after hearing his reply, Sun Jingrong's tone on the other end of the phone didn't show any dissatisfaction. It was as if this result had already been expected. It seems that I have to go to Lianshan County as soon as possible. Sun Jingrong on the other end of the phone looked at the bustling Beijing through the floor-to-ceiling glass window. No matter how good Lianshan County was, it couldn't be better than Dao. This thought was similar to Wang Yao's. In the afternoon, Wang Yao carefully read the two design plans brought by Tian Yuantu in the cottage. After comparing several times, Wang Yao directly abandoned the plan designed by the internal staff of Tian Yuantu's company. Professor Liu was indeed a well-known figure in the industry. The things he designed were not ordinary. Wang Yao carefully thought about it. According to the knowledge he obtained from the system, he made a slight modification in the aspects of medicine and the 5 elements. Well, that's it. After the plan was settled, the next step was the construction. This naturally had to be done by Tian Yuantu. The construction of the old house, the foundation, and the construction of the new house was a piece of cake for the construction team of Jiahui Group. When the medical center is opened, I don't have to run around. In the evening, Wang Mingbao came back from the city to the village and specially came to Wang Yao's house. The two brothers chatted for a while. Are you free tomorrow? Wang Yao asked. I'm going to the city in the morning to see how Wei Hai and Kong are recovering. I'll also go to Tian Yuantu's company. He had an appointment with Wang Mingbao to meet in Lianshan the next morning. His life returned to normal. The next morning, as usual, he went to the top of the mountain to practice. He carefully took care of the herbal field. Then, he told San Xian and De Xia to activate the battle array and went down the mountain. After going down the mountain, he told his family and drove to Lianshan County. He first went to Tian Yuantu's company and returned the design plan to Tian Yuantu. He also told him some of the small changes in it. Then, let's do it. When we pick a good day, we'll start the construction, Tian Yuantu said. Okay, are you free at noon? Wang Yao asked. Yes, since you're here, I have to let go of everything, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. Recently, not only had his health begun to improve, but the company's affairs had also been smoother. In turn, this made him more relaxed. The two complemented each other. How about the usual place? Wang Yao asked. The usual place is good. After sitting at Tian Yuantu's place for a while, he went to Wang Mingbao's place. Wang Mingbao had been waiting for him in the shop. Wei Hai had also arrived. He looked very good. His face was rosy and shiny. His eyes were bright. When he spoke, he was full of energy. Brother Wei, you look very good. Yes, I also feel very energetic recently. Everything I eat tastes good. I sleep as soon as I lie down. It's so comfortable, Wei Hai said with a smile. Can you take a look again? Okay. In fact, just by smelling and listening to his voice, Wang Yao could tell that Wei Hai's illness had almost recovered. He sat down and checked his pulse. Well, it's still a little bit away, Wang Yao said. Indeed, it was still a little bit away. The poisonous insects in the deepest part of his organs had not been completely removed. With your current physical fitness, you can try to increase the dosage of medicine. Wang Yao had this idea a long time ago. He had tried it before, but the effect was not good at that time. Not only did it not have the expected effect, but it also almost killed him. This time was different. Okay, I'll listen to you, Wei Hai said. He had no objections to this matter. After a while, Li Maoshuang and Zhou Xiong also arrived. In less than a year, most of the friends Wang Yao had made were here. Zhou Wukong's illness had also recovered well. The child's spirit was also very good. How was the trip to Beijing? Did it go well? Fortunately, it went quite smoothly. The few of them gathered together, chatting and laughing. They had lunch together at noon. This was what it meant to have a drink with 3 or 5 friends. It was a happy morning. It was not like in Beijing, where there was no one to talk to. Facing Chening, Wang Yao still had some things to say. You won't be in a hurry to go out this time, right? Wei Hai asked with a smile. Probably not in a short time. The land I bought has just started construction. The medical center? Yes. Congratulations in advance then. Thank you. After lunch, Wang Yao was not in a hurry to go back. The few of them went to Wei Hai's tea house to sit for a while. They had a pot of tea and a few interesting things. When Wang Yao returned home, it was already past 4 p.m. It was already July. The weather was hot and humid, which made people very uncomfortable. Of course, this was not a problem for Wang Yao. With his current physical fitness, he was immune to both heat and cold. After returning home, he left the car and went up the hill. When he arrived at Nanshan Hill, he happened to see 2 people from the same village leading a man in his 50s to walk around the hill. The man walked for a while and stopped to look at something in his hand. Wang Yao's eyesight was extraordinary. He could clearly see that the man was holding a compass in his hand. It was a professional tool used to look at feng shui. This place is not bad, but if I'm buried here, my wife won't make trouble, the man in the tang suit said. Master, please take a look again. Is there a better place? Okay. The middle-aged man looked around and finally fixed his eyes on a piece of lush green. Chapter 275. The place he was looking at was Nanshan Hill. There. The villagers were stunned. They then looked at Wang Yao, who was walking not far away. That's not a good place. Nothing grows, he replied after thinking for a while. Not growing? That's impossible. How can those trees be so lush? The feng shui master actually knew some feng shui knowledge. Although he didn't know how to look at the fabled qi, he had traveled extensively over the years. In addition, he had learned from an old feng shui master for a few days. He knew a little about mountains, topography, and feng shui. Let's go up and have a look. Forget it, master. Let's go to other places to have a look. That mountain has been contracted. Contracted? Forget it. After walking a few steps, the feng shui master looked back again. Let's go there and have a look. He pointed to a territory near Nanshan Hill. Okay. The three of them went up the mountain. The feng shui master walked and looked up at Nanshan Hill from time to time. He could see it more clearly here than in the previous place. Nanshan Hill was not isolated. There were hills all around it, but these hills were either planted with crops or bare with only a few trees. It was full of grass. Only that place was lush and different from the rest. The villagers had been accustomed to this. After all, they went up the mountain all day and saw it every day. However, for an outsider who had just come here, it was extremely abnormal, especially for a feng shui master. The trees in that area are growing very well. They were planted by the young people who contracted the mountain. Were they planted artificially or in recent years? Yes. Forget it. In feng shui, most of the good geographical features were naturally formed between heaven and earth. Of course, there were also artificial interventions. However, most of them were only guided on the original basis. Generally, those who did it were people with high feng shui skills. It was not a one-time effort. Therefore, when he heard that it was man-made, he gave up directly. If he looked closer, he might find the mystery. In Lianshan County, Jiahui Group, Tian Yuantu specially convened a meeting with relevant personnel to discuss the construction of Wang Yao's medical center. The materials had to be the best. The people had to be the best. The process had to be the most serious. There couldn't be any problems. This caused the few people in charge to be stunned. Could it be that the boss built this house for himself? After the meeting, the next step was to set the start date. Generally, construction would choose a good day for good luck. On the 18th day of the 6th lunar month, all was well. This was the date that Tian Yuantu helped Wang Yao find, which was 3 days later. Wang Yao also told his parents about this matter. After all, this was a big matter, and there were many people in the village who paid attention to it. Just as his life gradually returned to normal, he received a call from He Qixing, telling him that the qualification exam would be brought forward. In July, there was an exam in Ji City. He Qixing asked him if he had time to attend. "I have time," Wang Yao said immediately. He had to get the certificate, whether it was for the mission or for his future. Moreover, his medical center was going to be built. Without the certificate, there would be a lot of trouble. "All right, then I'll help you register." "Thank you." And so, the matter was settled. At night, Wang Yao looked at the sky outside the cottage. "San Xian, it's going to rain. It's going to rain heavily." Thunder sounded in the middle of the night. Then, it started to rain heavily. It was a night. The water on the mountain converged downward and flowed along the river in the mountain stream to the village. There was a dam in the mountain, which was a small reservoir. The muddy water flowed toward the village. There was a river in the village, which was less than 30 feet wide. Once there was a flood, the river would fill up half of the river. In the morning, it was still raining. It was still so heavy. On Nanshan Hill, it was a lot different. It felt like a gentle breeze and drizzle. It was as if the hilltop and the outside world were two different worlds. The rain lasted for a day and a night. In the middle of the night, at the south of the village, with a bang, the roof of a few dilapidated old houses in the courtyard couldn't withstand the impact of the heavy rain. The rain lessened in the afternoon of the second day. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao went down the mountain with an umbrella. The mountain path was muddy. He couldn't climb the duckweed and cross the water with his current kung fu. However, he was able to control himself. He only wet his shoes. This control was very good. He didn't want to go down the mountain. There was not much left on the mountain. The taste of San Xian was getting more and more picky. Eating steamed buns alone was not enough to satisfy him. After going down the mountain, he drove to the town to buy some fresh beef and mutton. Then, he went to the supermarket to buy some dog food. After he was done shopping, he drove back to his house. When he arrived at the village, he saw a group of people not on the riverbank. He didn't know what they were looking at. I guess it's going to be tough. Yeah, the water is so big. TSK, it's not easy to get into a university. Hey, there's someone over there. Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted. Wang Yao stopped the car and leaned against the side of the road. He got out of the car and saw several people from the same village. Uncle. Hey Yao, you drove out? Yes, what's going on? A child fell into the river. A young man went to save the child. The child was saved, but the young man was washed away by the water. What about him? Suddenly, a man's head appeared in the river. He was holding a piece of wood that came out of nowhere. He was being washed up and down by the water. The situation was very dangerous. This river was the main river where the water from all the villages gathered. It was dozens of meters wide. The young man was at least 10 meters away from the river. He was quickly washed away by the current. It was very difficult to save him. Quick, throw the rope. The people on the river bank ran with the water. They wanted to throw the rope into the river so that the young man could catch it. However, the river flowed too fast. The young man was far away from them. The rope itself was soft. It was impossible to throw it over. Let me do it. Wang Yao took the rope from the man's hand. He circulated his naishi and threw the rope out. The hemp rope immediately straightened like a stick. It fell precisely in front of the young man who fell into the river. However, the young man didn't catch it. Ah, what a pity! Let's do it again. Wang Yao caught it with his hand. With a whoosh, the hemp rope was taken back. He quickly ran forward for a distance. Then, he threw the rope out again. The hemp rope was like a stick in front of the young man. This time, the young man successfully caught the hemp rope. Caught it! The people on the riverbank were happy. Quick, pull the rope. The people on the riverbank worked together to pull the rope up. It took a lot of effort to save the young man. When they went ashore, the young man's face was pale. He was a little short of breath. Call an ambulance quickly. Make way. Let the air circulate. Wang Yao treated the young man with the method of massage. Wow. The young man vomited several mouthfuls of water. He took the opportunity to check his pulse. He was healthy. However, because he fell into the water, it was inevitable that he would choke. It was better to go to the hospital for a checkup. The town's ambulance came quickly. A group of people carried the young man into the ambulance. They watched him being taken to the hospital. Yao, you know a lot. Haha, I know a little. Wang Yao drove back to the village after saying goodbye to several elders in the village. He did not take the matter to heart. After he left, a few young men from the lower village started to get busy on the riverbank with the rope that was used to save people. Hey, how did he throw it? Did you see it? It seems to be like this. One of them took the hemp rope and threw it into the river. The hemp rope was still soft. It fell into the river with a splash. No. They had clearly seen the scene when Wang Yao threw out the hemp rope, which was as straight as a stick. At the same time, they were very curious and couldn't help but want to give it a try. However, they found that they couldn't do it at all. Hey, what's going on? Does that guy know Kung Fu? Kung Fu? Yes, someone can gather cloth into a stick. He just made the rope like a stick. Nonsense, that's something in movies and novels. Who can use a rope as a stick? Chapter 276. Wang Yao drove back home and unloaded all the meat he had bought from the car. Why did you go out to buy so much meat on such a rainy day? Zhang Xiuying asked. Are you craving meat? A little. So is San Xian. What do you want to eat first? Let's drink mutton soup, Wang Yao said. Hot mutton soup was perfect for drinking on a rainy day. Okay, I'll cook it in a while. Pitter-patter. The rain outside was getting heavier. In the big pot, the meat soup was boiling. Soon, the smell of mutton wafted out. At noon, Wang Yao drank 3 bowls of soup. Well, it's delicious. When the rain outside stopped a little, Wang Yao went out with a big bag in one hand and an umbrella in the other. He walked up the mountain. Yao, are you still going up the mountain today? On the road in the village, a few people were watching the river by the river. They cast nets along the way. Generally, they could catch a few heavy rain from the upstream dam or small reservoir. Although they were in a small mountain village and the reservoir in the mountain was not big, the water was dry all year round. Under such circumstances, some big fish could grow. Someone once caught a big fish more than 40 pounds with a net. Wang Fengming was also watching the fun by the river. He took the initiative to ask after seeing Wang Yao. Hey, uncle. During this time, Wang Fengming's complexion was getting better and better. After chatting for a while, Wang Yao went forward again. When he passed by the south of the village, he stopped and looked at the old houses with collapsed roof. The yard was full of mud and weeds were coming out again. Let's wait for 2 more days. Here, hot mutton soup. After going up the mountain, Wang Yao took out the sealed mutton soup from the bag. When he opened it, it was still steaming. He gave one to the goshawk and to Xia. Try it. This was not the first time they had drunk this. Mongrels were omnivorous animals, so what surprised Wang Yao was that the goshawk could drink some. Of course, it was more willing to eat fresh meat, so Wang Yao took 2 pieces of fresh meat to feed it. The rain stopped when it was close to evening. In this heavy rain, 2 people in the small Lianshan County were washed away by the river and lost their lives. If it were not for Wang Yao, the number would be 1 more. The next day, the weather cleared up. When the sun came out, the moisture in the ground that had not yet dried up was exposed to the sun, and the air was abnormally hot and humid. It was a typical sauna day. In such weather, it was easy to get heat stroke, and outdoor activities would be affected. On such a day, someone entered the mountain village and went up Nanshan Hill. Phew, so hot! He Qixing had only taken a few steps when his skin was already drenched in sweat. Haha, when did I start to be unable to endure even this little bit of hardship? He said somewhat self-deprecatingly. Nanshan Hill was still there, quiet and lush halfway up the mountain. It looked right in front of him, but it would take some time to walk, especially in such hot weather. The feeling of being drenched in sweat was very uncomfortable. He Qixing came to the foot of the mountain and looked up. He then walked up the mountain path. When he reached the mountainside, the herbal garden was in front of him. The saplings that protected the garden seemed to have grown a lot taller. The mountain breeze blew on his body, and the sweat was taken away. He instantly felt a lot cooler. Woof, woof, woof. San Xian was lying on the path to the herbal garden. Hello, San Xian. He Qixing smiled and greeted San Xian. Woof, woof. San Xian did not fall for his tricks at all. Who is it? Wang Yao, who heard the sound, came out of the house. Yes, brother, come in quickly. After hearing Wang Yao's order, San Xian made way for him. This dog is full of intelligence. It is smarter than ordinary dogs, Wang Yao said with a smile. This is the exam certificate. The exam will be in G. Do you think? No problem, Wang Yao said with a smile. In fact, He Qixing's original intention was that if Wang Yao was not willing to go, he could find someone to take the exam for him. By then, he could also get the qualification certificate. He did not expect Wang Yao to agree so readily. The location and date are all in the information. When you arrive in Quan, can you call me again? Okay, thank you, Wang Yao said. In this matter, Wang Yao had helped him a lot. You are welcome. He Qixing chatted with Wang Yao on the mountain for a while before leaving. When he walked down the mountainside, almost instantly, sweat poured out of his body. Battle array. This word suddenly appeared in his mind. It must be because Wang Yao had set up a special battle array on the mountain. Therefore, there were two distinct climates on the mountain. After going down the mountain, He Qixing turned to look at the half-hidden cottage on the mountain and sighed, "I really hope I can stay on this mountain for a few more days." After the rain stopped, Wang Yao started to get busy again. First, he checked the plants in the herbal field. After making sure they were not damaged by the rain, he changed the wild herbs brought by Chen Buiyuan through the system. Then, he prepared to exchange them for everlasting grass and lingshanji, which were used to decoct muscle revitalization powder. The next day, Tian Yuantu came again. This time, he did not come alone. He came with the person in charge of his construction team. Here. Yes, this is the place. Looking at the courtyard, which was not very big, the general was a little surprised. He had seen the design drawings before, but he did not see the surrounding environment. He thought it would be in some beautiful place. He did not expect it to be in a small mountain village. What's the matter? Is there any problem? No. This project was not big. It should be said that it was very small. Think about it. Who would hire a construction team to build a house in the village? Most people would ask the villagers or the people in the neighboring villages to help. That's good. Then, Tian Yuantu went to Nanshan Hill again. He communicated with Wang Yao again. After confirming that there were no problems, he waited for the construction to start. I have seen the weather forecast. The weather will be good for a week, Tian Yuantu said. The medical center will be completed in a week. That's good. Wang Yao smiled. On June 18th, the sun was shining brightly. The sky was clear. At 8:18 in the morning, firecrackers were set off. The construction of the medical center had started. Many people in the village came to watch the fun. Wang Yao could not avoid this kind of thing. Fortunately, his parents helped him. Wang Mingbao also came back from Lianshan County. In his words, his brother was building a house. There was no reason for him not to be there. Moreover, this was his home ground. Originally, Wei Hai and the others also wanted to come, but they were dissuaded by Wang Yao. This time it was just breaking ground. It was not the opening ceremony. There was no need to make it so grand. Wang Yao was not a person who liked crowds. Because of the use of automatic tools, the construction of the project was very fast. The dilapidated houses were quickly pushed out and the construction waste was continuously transported out. In the morning, Wang Yao set up a few tables in the restaurant in the village. He specially invited the construction workers. Although Tian Yuantu said there was no need to, he still strongly requested to treat them to a meal. In fact, it did not cost much. This also expressed his own feelings. The matter of him building a house in the village became the topic of the villagers before and after tea. After all, over the years, dozens of new houses had been built in the village. It was the first time that he had built a house like this. The family did not do it. They hired a professional construction team. It was fast, but it also cost a lot of money. Look at Feng Hua's family. They even hired a construction team to build a house. How much do you think Feng Hua's son will spend? He has money to burn. Some praised, some were jealous, and some were cynical. This was the way of the world and the people's hearts. Somewhere in Dao, Sun Jingrong had returned home from Jing. How is Yunxing, how? Young master's condition is stable, the man with facial paralysis said. It's good that he is stable. Go to Lianshan County with me tomorrow to visit Dr. Wang, Sun Jingrong said. If it had not been for some matters in Jing, he would have gone to Lianshan County. Yes. Have you prepared the gift? It's ready. That's good. Sun Jingrong felt that the biggest gain of his trip to Jing was being able to connect with Wang Yao, a young man with extraordinary medical skills. Not only did it give his son hope, but it also gave him and his family more protection. The premise was that he had a good relationship with Wang Yao. Chapter 277. What did the rich and powerful hope for? Of course, they wanted to be healthy and enjoy the power and wealth in their hand. What was there to be afraid of? They were afraid that the power and money would suddenly leave them. They were afraid that they would fall ill and not enjoy the wealth and power in front of them. The ancient emperors longed for immortality. They wanted to enjoy the country forever. In the mountain village, Tian Yuantu's construction team was very efficient. The demolition of the old house was completed in a day. The next step was to prepare for the foundation of the new house. Before this work, the construction speed suddenly slowed down. They carefully searched and checked the foundation pit. What are they looking for? Wang Yao happened to see this process. He asked curiously. Nothing, the leader of the construction team said with a smile. In addition to choosing a good day to break the ground, there were many taboos. For example, there couldn't be iron objects and other debris under the foundation. It could only be earth and stone. Even big stones were not allowed. Of course, the construction must be built with steel bars. This was also a feng shui principle. These people were very experienced. In addition, the boss specially told them. Wang Yao also treated them with good wine and cigarette. Therefore, they were very attentive. Wang Yao didn't know these things. As the saying goes, there are specializations in the field. That was all. They searched very carefully. Some steel bars, iron wires, and the like were all removed. Then, they began to water the foundation of the house. After the foundation was completed, under such hot weather, it would take 2 to 3 days before the wall could be built on top of it. Wang Yao also went to town every day to buy some cigarettes, mineral water, coke, and other things. It didn't cost much. It was for the sake of peace of mind. In Jiahui Group in Lianshan County, a distinguished guest came to Tian Yuantu's office. Mr. Sun, why didn't you tell me in advance that you were coming? Tian Yuantu said with a smile. He didn't expect Sun Jingrong to suddenly come here. However, he could guess the purpose of Sun Jingrong. Sun Jingrong came to find Dr. Wang for his son's illness. To be honest, I'm here to visit Dr. Wang. Brother Tian, can you help me contact him? Sun Jingrong asked. Okay, I'll contact them right away. Then, Tian Yuantu called Wang Yao. Sun Jingrong, in Lianshan County. Tell him to wait at your place. I still have something to do, said Wang Yao. Okay, Tian Yuantu said. Director Sun, please wait a moment. He still has some matters to attend to at home. It will take some time before he can rush over. Alright. Sun Jingrong didn't say anything. He waited in Tian Yuantu's office, and the two people chatted. In the mountain village, Wang Yao said goodbye to his parent. He packed up and drove to Lianshan County. He went directly to Jiahui Group. He met Sun Jingrong in Tian Yuantu's office. Hello, Dr. Wang. After seeing Wang Yao, Sun Jingrong stood up and greeted him. Hello, Mr. Sunday, let's go somewhere else? After all, it was not appropriate to talk in someone else's office. Well, let's go to my reception room, said Tian Yuantu. Okay, sorry to bother you. They went to the reception room. Tian Yuantu chose to leave at the right time. How is your son's condition? Asked Wang Yao. He's stable. Thank you, Dr. Wang, said Sun Jingrong. That's good. Did I give him the decoction? Asked Wang Yao. No, according to your instructions, I'll use it when he has an attack, said Sun Jingrong. Okay, said Wang Yao. Wang Yao secretly calculated the time. Sun Jingrong had been taking the decoction for nearly a week. I came here to thank Dr. Wang. I have a small gift for you. Please accept it, said Sun Jingrong. As Sun Jingrong spoke, the stiff-faced man beside him took out a wooden box. It looked very delicate. What is this? I appreciate your kindness, but I don't need a gift. Wang Yao hurriedly declined the gift. Ah, how can I do that? Just take it as a gift from 1,000 miles away. He opened the box. There was a teapot inside. It looked very simple. Wang Yao did not know much about teapots, but he could see that the teapot was old. It had a kind of simple and elegant beauty. He declined a few more times, but Sun Jingrong insisted. "Thank you, Mr. Sunday. I'll accept the gift." Wang Yao sighed. After the gift was delivered, Sun Jingrong chatted with Wang Yao for a while. He also asked about his son's condition and future treatment. Then, he invited Wang Yao to have lunch together. "No, I have something to do at home. I'll invite you next time." "Okay, next time." Sun Jingrong did not hesitate. He had seen Wang Yao, given the gift, asked what he wanted to ask, and achieved the purpose of the trip. He got up and left. Wang Yao and Tian Yuantu saw him off. "He asked you to treat his son?" "Yes, he also gave him a small gift." Wang Yao took out the teapot Sun Jingrong gave him. "This is a spring teapot?" Tian Yuantu took it and looked at it carefully. "Yes, it's a spring teapot from the Ming dynasty. It's the work of a master. This is good stuff," Tian Yuantu praised. "It's not cheap, is it?" "It's not cheap. Such a teapot is rare in the market. It's a hot item. I know it because I once attended an auction and saw it there. After that, I was curious and looked at the relevant information. This teapot is worth at least 200,000 yuan. 200,000? Wang Yao frowned after hearing that. "This gift is a bit expensive." "He probably heard that you like to drink tea, so he gave you this teapot. It's an elegant object." I don't know who told him." Wang Yao shook his head helplessly. "Would you like to stay for lunch?" "No, I have something to do at home. Maybe another day?" "Okay." Wang Yao drove back to the mountain village. These days the weather was good. It was sunny and windy, so it was not so hot. After the foundation was almost watered, the construction workers began to put up pillars and walls. The speed was faster. These people were very skilled. They would pay attention to anything that needed attention. Some of the herbs in the herbal garden on the mountain had also reached maturity. Wang Yao harvested some in batches. The usage and storage of herbs were different. They could be dried in the sun or stir-fried in the shade. Then, he prepared some herbs and prepared to decoct a few doses of medicine. Wei Hai's illness was almost cured. Wang Yao planned to use a strong medicine to appropriately increase the concentration of the deworming powder and increase the dosage in order to kill the poisonous insects and eggs in the depths of the internal organs. Secretary Yang's mother's cold disease was also much better. In addition to the sanyang powder, Wang Yao also thought of another way. Medicinal bath. Bathing with the water boiled with herbs to achieve the effects of ventilation, drainage, and regulation. These days I will have to go out. In just 7 or 8 days, a brand new house appeared in the south of the village. It had black tiles and white walls. It was different from the others. Every time the villagers walked out of the courtyard, they would take a few more glances at it. "Tsk, tsk, tsk. This house is beautiful. Other people have a professional designer to design it. It's not like us." "Yes, it's a design plan made by others." This house had not been built yet, but it had become the most conspicuous house in the whole village. The main body of the house was built. Later, it was time to decorate the inside. The courtyard wall was also knocked down and rebuilt. It was completely the same style as the house. The whole courtyard was also renovated. It needed to be paved with brick. The 2 acacia trees were left. At this time, they were flourishing. In the morning, on the hill, there was green smoke and the smell of herbs. Wang Yao was decocting medicine in the cottage. He was already familiar with the process of decocting medicine. After the decoction was successfully decocted, he put it in the bag. He opened the system panel to have a look and added a few points of experience. Soon, he had not leveled up for a long time, but his experience continued to increase. This was because he had been constantly seeing patients and decocting medicine. Little drops made an ocean. In the morning, he went to Lianshan County again. Wei Hai was still the same as before. He lay in the tea house and listened to the community leisurely. "Hey, why are you here? You didn't go to hike?" Wang Yao asked. "I just went yesterday. The two little guys are very good." Hearing about his children, Wei Hai's eyes showed a light of love. Chapter 278. I've told you that your illness won't be transmitted to them. You've almost recovered. There won't be a problem, Wang Yao said with a smile. At first, Wei Hai didn't go back because he was afraid that his sickly appearance would scare his children. Later, when he got better, he was worried that his illness would be contagious, so he would go back occasionally. At that time, Wang Yao had told him that it was caused by his living habit. Unless it was blood contact, it wouldn't be contagious. However, he was still worried. It wasn't until more than a month ago that he started to go home frequently. "Yes, I know. In a week, I'll be in hike for 4 days and in Lianshan for the rest of the time. It's better to live in a different place. This is the decoction I've prepared for you. It should be the last one." Wang Yao took out the decoction he had prepared in advance. After hearing Wang Yao's words, Wei Hai knew that his illness should be cured soon. "Have you had breakfast?" "Yes." "Then let's start. It might be a little painful. I can bear it." Wang Yao poured a cup of decoction. "Drink this much first." Wei Hai took the decoction and drank it without hesitation. Wang Yao stayed at the side. He put his fingers on Wang Yao's wrist to check the change of his pulse. "Tell me if you feel any obvious discomfort." "Okay." In the first 10 minutes after drinking the decoction, he didn't feel anything special. He only felt a slight burning under his ribs, as if there was a hot water bottle covering it. As time went by, the burning began to become a tingling pain. It felt as if someone was poking him with a red-hot needle. Wei Hai's face began to turn pale. His body trembled slightly and sweat came out immediately. "Does it hurt?" "Yes, I can bear it." The needle-like pain was rapidly increasing. Wei Hai's body trembled violently. Seeing this, Wang Yao rubbed a few places under the man's ribs. There were a few acupoints there that could play an analgesic role. Huff huff. Wei Hai panted heavily. His ribs still hurt badly. This process was like an execution. It didn't take long, but it felt very slow. After a while, he felt that the pain under his ribs was gradually weakening. "The pain is starting to subside." "Yes." Wang Yao looked at the time and made a mental note of it. The scorching pain lasted for nearly 2 hours. Even though there was an air conditioner in the room, Wei Hai's clothes were drenched in sweat, and water could be wrung out of his clothes. "It doesn't hurt anymore, but it's still a little hot and swollen here." He pointed at his abdomen. "Eat something light at noon and drink more soup." "All right. Come to my place tomorrow. I'll take a look at you again." "No problem." Wang Yao reminded him of some things to pay attention to before leaving. As soon as he left, Wei Hai collapsed on the recliner. The treatment just now had exhausted his strength. Now he just wanted to lie there and do nothing. He just wanted to breathe heavily and have a good rest. After lying there for more than half an hour, he recovered some strength. He looked at the time and was about to go out to eat something. He picked up the key and walked to the door. Suddenly, he felt a little uncomfortable in his abdomen. He wanted to go to the bathroom, so he hurried into the bathroom. He had a bout of diarrhea. The bathroom was extremely smelly. After getting rid of the residues and toxins in his body, Wei Hai felt a lot more comfortable. After he finished, he didn't forget to look back. He saw a dark, sticky substance floating above. Splash! It was all washed away by the water. Phew! Wei Hai let out a long sigh of relief. He then locked the door and left the tea house. On the other hand, Wang Yao drove to hike. He didn't go home. He wanted to see Secretary Yang's mother. This time, he didn't go with Tian Yuan too. He just called the kind old woman in advance and asked her to wait for him at home. Hike was close to the Yellow Sea. The temperature in Hike was slightly lower than in Lianshan County, which was dozens of kilometers away. When he saw Secretary Yang's mother again, her complexion was much better than the last time. Her face was ruddy, her eyes were bright, and her movements were much more vigorous. This was the external sign that she had recovered. "Dr. Wang, please come in. Hey, your complexion is much better." "Yes. Let me take a look." "Okay." After sitting down, Wang Yao began to diagnose the old woman. The cold toxins were still there, but the amount was much less. This was somewhat similar to the parasites in Wei Hai's body. They were in the depths of the viscera. It was very difficult to remove and expel. With Wang Yao's current ability, he could only remove it by using a decoction. When the patient's body was better, he could appropriately increase the efficacy of the decoction to have a more violent effect. It directly went to the depths of the viscera to stimulate and expel it. However, it was a big test for the old woman in front of him. Although her body was much better than before, she was in her 70s. She was not like Wei Hai, who was in the prime of his life. His body's foundation was still there. Wang Yao explained the situation to the old woman in front of him in detail. At the same time, he proposed a treatment plan of medicinal bath. It was entirely up to her whether to try it or not. "Is it to use medicinal bath? You can think of it that way." Wang Yao smiled. "I trust Dr. Wang." "Thank you for your trust." Wang Yao took out the list of herbs he had thought of for the medicinal bath and the specific method of medicinal bath. The knowledge used in the process was also mentioned in the series instilled by the system. He prepared the herbs according to the old woman's condition. The herbs he used were all mild. The method was given, the herbs were listed, and the things to pay attention to were also listed. The rest was to implement it. A local boss should be able to do such a thing well. After diagnosing the old woman, Wang Yao left the sanyang powder and left. The old woman repeatedly asked him to stay for dinner. He would see how the old woman's condition was a week later. When he returned home, it was already around 5 p.m. In the small courtyard, the team was still busy. They were mainly building the courtyard walls and building the house. His sister had also returned home from abroad. "Sister, have you finished your study?" A while ago, Wang Ru was selected as a representative to study in a southern city according to the arrangement of the unit. The main content was naturally related to agriculture. She had been away for 10 days. "Yes, I've finished." "Not bad. This house is built fast." Wang Ru greeted her parents after returning home. She then ran to see her brother's new house. "It's all thanks to the workers. How do you feel?" "Well, it's very beautiful. Director Tian's subordinates are full of talents." The design plan was made by a professor from Tongji University. "A university professor? When did you meet him?" Wang Ru was a little surprised. "By chance. I have to thank Mr. Tian for this." After staying at the construction site for a while, the siblings returned home. In the evening, the family gathered together and listened to Wang Ru talk about what she had seen in the city. It was warm and lively. "Sister, it's still the same as before." It was not until 9 p.m. that Wang Yao left the house and went to Nanshan Hill. When he passed by the small courtyard, he did not forget to greet the worker who stayed to watch the tools and gave him 2 boxes of cigarette. "Thank you, Mr. Wang. You are too polite." The man in his 40s smiled and showed 2 rows of white teeth. "Why are you still going up the hill at this time?" After being here for a few days, he knew that this young man seemed to have a special habit. He was used to staying on Nanshan Hill, even at night. He really could not think of anything good about the hill. However, this young man was very thoughtful. "Yes, I'm used to it. Be careful on the road." He looked at the dark hill. There was no light at all. He felt scared. "Okay. After saying a few words, Wang Yao went up Nanshan Hill. The night, which was a little scary in the eyes of outsiders, was actually quite beautiful in his eyes. Everything was very quiet. The mountain breeze was blowing gently. The crops in the field, the trees on the hill, and the insects in the soil seemed to be whispering and growing. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.